Chapter 172 Forceful Invitation. Chapter 172 Forceful Invitation. He is indeed an unheard of genius. I toiled for years over the pill recipe, but this kid up and understood it. I am completely in awe. Tao Danyang laughed, sighed, then sank into depression. Zhuo Fan's godly alchemy skill left her feeling inferior in her meager achievements. It was a far greater blow than Vicious Pill King could ever give her after all. Vicious Pill King was the best in Tianyu, and yet she could still follow his tracks. While Zhuo Fan he had risen to unseen heights, to the point she couldn't even catch a shadow. Chu Qingqing and the rest were over the moon. Is that true? Of course. With the 17 pills the kid gave us, it is enough to get Drifting Flowers edifice out of this crisis. Tao Danyang laughed. Chu Qingqing blinked, still finding it hard to believe this was real. And Tao, you mean to say he unraveled the mystery of that antidote? That pill recipe is real? Yes, it is undoubtedly real. Vicious Pill King may have denied it. But to make the antidote to Rainbow Cloud Palm, one had to at least have a recipe, or you wouldn't know where to even begin. Tao Danyang sighed again. But that kid is amazing, not only understanding the pill recipe, but also following it in refining. The pill recipe was just a 7th grade, yet he made perfect 8th grade pills. With this, even grandmother's recovery is assured. What grandmother? Long Jiu's group cried, she's still alive. With a vague smile, Tao Danyang shook her head, just a breath away from death. But she will soon be back. Everyone felt uplifted by the news. Zhuo Fan's act was of huge consequence. Drifting Flowers Edifice's grandmother was the Lady of Steel. Furthermore, he not only wrested Drifting Flowers Edifice out of Pill King Hall's control, he even saved grandmother from now on. Drifting Flowers Edifice's only way was up. Regent Estate would not find it so easy to handle this house as before. He is the savior of Drifting Flowers Edifice. Long Jiu sighed, his admiration for Zhuo Fan going up a notch. To think this was his plan all along. How else could Drifting Flowers Edifice resist their wretched ally, Regent Estate? Drifting Flowers Edifice will soon return to being a national power if Long Jiu understood this. Then so did Chu Qingqing and the others, sharing a look. Chu Qingqing and the others had a newfound respect for Zhuo Fan. Even Peony Overseer, who endlessly cursed at Zhuo Fan, felt a little ashamed regardless of what was said, regardless of how focused Zhuo Fan was on his own directive. One thing was certain. He was the herald of Drifting Flowers Edifice's new dawn. This alone made him Drifting Flowers Edifice's greatest contributor. It's no longer him owing me, but me being indebted to him. Our bond still remains. Chu Qingqing smiled with a crafty look. They were eager to get back to Drifting Flowers Edifice, remove the poison from their sisters, and boost the morale of their troops out of everyone's notice. When the moon fell from its peak, a winged figure watched them from a treetop. He sighed and vanished into the night. In another place on the wide street, Yen Fu was shedding bitter tears going westward on a carriage. He was returning to Pill King Hall with the body of his master. Vicious Pill King, no one would have ever believed this trip to Drifting Flower City would rob the grand Vicious Pill King of his life. Wiping his nose, Yen Fu recalled his master's smile. His care for his disciple and his grief only grew. His cloudy eyes once again began shedding tears of sorrow. No, I cannot cry. I will have vindication. Wiping his tears, Yen Fu's eyes steeled. Zhuo Fan, one day I will kill you and lay master's soul to rest. Who? A sudden gale blew, followed by thunder. Yen Fu's heart seized and turned to look back. He saw a man with wings of lightning charging for him. Zizi Zhuo Fan. In a blink, Yen Fu's towering thirst for revenge was wiped clean. The panic was so palpable from his face that he was on the verge of tears. Dude, I was saying one day. Not now. Why are you here? I'm not ready. Could you at least give me at least 7 or 8 decades? But why would ever Zhuo Fan care? He always followed through with what he put his mind to whoosh. Zhuo Fan's arrival was swift, like lightning with lack of a better choice. Yen Fu jumped off the carriage. He then hopped on his feet with a serious face. Since I can't avoid him, come. I am not afraid of you, even if I die. But Zhuo Fan couldn't care less of him. Boom. With a crack of thunder, Zhuo Fan went through the carriage, which blew into smoldering ash. As Zhuo Fan's figure was made clear from the wreckage, he was holding someone. Yen Fu cursed in panic. Zhuo Fan, you bastard! What do you think you're doing to my master? Came to whip a corpse, ha ha ha. The air echoed with Zhuo Fan's mockery. Yen Fu shook, but all he could do was cry, Master, forgive me. Disciple is useless. I can't even defend your body. I am unfilial. I cannot stop that demon from humiliating you. Zhuo Fan looked back at him with a smile. Although the kid was a cunning twerp, not great in the least, he was loyal, though. After flying for half an hour, Zhuo Fan landed in a groove and threw Vicious Pill King's corpse on the ground, watching the aged and peaceful man. Zhuo Fan put a pill in Vicious Pill King's mouth, then brought out his gourd. Opening it, a blood-red cute worm wiggled from within. Finally going to put you to good use. Zhuo Fan snickered and placed the bloodworm in Vicious Pill King's mouth. He put away the gourd and started going through gestures as he shouted, Ha! In a blink, a visible ripple came from Vicious Pill King, shuddering. Vicious Pill King started moving and got up. His mind in a panic, his hazy eyes looked around. Where am I? Ha ha ha, Elder Yen, we can finally have a nice and quiet chat. Zhuo Fan made a point to give the kindest and most heartwarming smile he could, but all he managed to do was send Yen Song into a shivering fit. He staggered backward. To get some to a safe distance from him, such a reaction was as instinctive as when a bunny met face to face with a tiger. If only the others were here to see this, they'd be slack-jawed. The grand and magnificent Vicious Pill King, the best alchemist in the empire, who treaded the continent with such haughtiness, was actually a scaredy cat. But any who had dealings with Zhuo Fan would find this totally understandable. The fear that was Demon Archon Zhuo Fan was not something mortals could fathom. Didn't you just kill me? How on staring long at Zhuo Fan, Vicious Pill King recalled what happened 4 days ago. But to him, it was as if it was just a moment ago. Chuckling, Zhuo Fan said, My actions are always ethical. Those that I want to kill, they stay dead. As for the others, they won't die if I'm around. I made sure the sound attack was weakened before it hit you, dislodging your soul from your body for a while. It's akin to feigning death. A mere soul-restoring pill would wake you up easily. Roaming his eyes in thought, Vicious Pill King found it to be true, but still asked with no little suspicion, Why did you let me live instead of killing me? Ha ha ha, didn't I tell you? I respect you as being the first Grandmaster of your generation. It'd be such a pity to kill you, and I find that using you is a much better alternative. Zhuo Fan's eyes shined and his grin widened, scared out of his wits. Vicious Pill King now knew Zhuo Fan's intention and mocked him. Ha ha ha, you think you can recruit me just 'cause you want it? I am the best alchemist in Pill King Hall. So why would I fall from grace and become your errand boy? Nice, prideful. I just love your attitude. At least this way, you'll get to make plenty of pills. Zhuo Fan condescended, adding a thumbs up for good measure. Sigh, guess I can't force you. Startled, Vicious Pill King was puzzled. I refused, yet he's not one bit angry. He gave up too easily. This is not how the usual demon acts. Zhuo Fan, you won't try to persuade me. What would be the point? I said all I had to say already. It's fine as long as you understand. Zhuo Fan smiled like a good chap, but then his hand made a sign in a blink. A bloody mark appeared on Vicious Pill King's forehead, causing his blood to boil. He felt his head exploding, that it was slowly cracking itself open. Vicious Pill King held his head and rolled on the ground from the torture. Blood seeped from his mouth, ears, nose, and eyes. Zhuo Fan, what the hell did you do to me? Vicious Pill King's eyes bulged out, ready to explode in all his years. He had never endured such excruciating pain. Even the poisons he made paled in comparison to the torture this suffering brought about. He just couldn't figure out what Juefan had done to him giggling. Juefan showed him a red worm. Elderyan, to be completely honest, I was afraid you might not be so inclined to go along with my request. So, I gave you this little pet while you were unconscious. It can make your blood to surge and expand, ending up with a bloody bang. Horrified, Vicious Pill King didn't think Juefan was capable of having such vile acts. He knew he had no escape and clung to his only hope as he yelled, Juefan, you're going back on your own words. Didn't you say you won't force me? Yeah, I won't ever force you. It is wholly up to your own free will if you want to come with. But if you refuse, that takes us back to when we were enemies. It is only right that I rid the world of my enemies, no? Juefan's cold face stared him down. Vicious Pill King's mouth fell and felt like crying. It was clear like ink on paper. Juefan wanted to force him into submission, but the prick had the gall to preach him of free will, even if it made perfect sense. Then end me. Spare me of this suffering. TCH, 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 I can't help you there. It's my decision on how I destroy my enemies. In your long-lived life, sir, how many enemies have you seen teaching their killer how to kill them? Juefan blinked with a wide and naive smile, though it only helped to horrify Vicious Pill King. Further, Demon Juefan earned his name. He is entirely insidious and cruel. Chapter 173, Pillhouse Elder. Chapter 173, Pillhouse Elder. Ah! Vicious Pill King's screams reached the clouds, evoking the same torment a soul would feel when being fed upon by the horde of wraiths in the underworld. The good news was this was in the wild, so no human would be scared to death by hearing his cries at night. Juefan sat leisurely on a big rock, staring at him pitilessly. Suddenly, Vicious Pill King had had enough. He gnashed his teeth and gathered his yuan qi to blow himself up, of course. Such an obvious move didn't escape Juefan's sharp eyes. He made a gesture, and all his work came undone as the energy seeped into nothing. Ha ha ha! I almost forgot to tell you. Once the bloodworm enters you, you are under my complete control. Think of suicide. You need to have my permission first. Juefan mocked. Vicious Pill King's heart was filled with shock. Where did this demon archon Juefan come from? Why was he so evil? If I had this thing, I would not need to waste time with Rainbow Cloud Palm. Instead, I could have outright controlled Drifting Flower's edifice. The irony here was that instead of him getting to use it, Juefan used it on him, the glorious Vicious Pill King. Ah! All Vicious Pill King could do was make his torment known through endless shrieks and wails. His eyes bulged and blood crammed into his skull on the verge of popping. And that was exactly what was hoping to happen, being at the edge of exploding. He couldn't even move as the torture only grew and grew. He just couldn't believe such hell existed. And Juefan's gaze made his fear all the more. The malice this kid shows had never been seen in this world, and probably won't appear either long after he is gone. Kill me. Vicious Pill King was as stubborn as ever. Although his eyes did contain a hint of pleading, Juefan passed him a glance and placed an hourglass on the ground. Elderyan, I don't have time to waste on you. If you want to die, all you have to do is wait for the hourglass to end. It's not much, just around 24 hours. What? Vicious Pill King was on the verge of tears. It wasn't the same as saying to let him be driven mad by pain for a whole day. He didn't want to wait even a minute. Please kill me. I beg you, sir. Vicious Pill King wailed inside, but not minding his plight. Juefan ruffled the dust off himself and left. Wait, where are you going? Vicious Pill King cried. The chance to make Juefan deliver him into the sweet embrace of death would be higher if he was watching. But if Juefan left, he'd be all alone in his suffering for a full day. Imagining that horror got him shivering. Never had he imagined this day would come. To hope for death, to be so miserable he was now longing for it, growing ever impatient to get it. Snorting, Juefan disdained. My time is too precious to waste it on you, to kick the bucket, but I respect you too much as the best alchemist of your generation. to walk this path all by your lonesome self. So, I'll just fetch your prized pupil to show you the way to the underworld. He will make good company. I believe he will jump in joy, since such a filial disciple can be together with his cherished master. Ha ha ha. What? Panicking, vicious Pill King's eyes took an ominous glint. Juefan, if you touch one hair on his head, I vow to haunt you in the afterlife. Cocking an eyebrow, Juefan turned to look at him with a beaming smile. Oh, dear, threatening me, are we? Well, go ahead then. Juefan flew away. Wait. Vicious Pill King's anxious cries were met with silence. Then his face sank as he said, Grandmaster Jua, young Master Jua, I concede. I am not your match. I will do anything you want. Just let my disciple go. Juefan's laughter echoed into the sky. He smirked triumphantly without turning around. He casually responded, When I stole your body, I had the impression that we might become allies. So, I didn't harm your disciple for your sake. But now, since we're enemies, it's best to snuff any danger out. Vicious Pill King had gone silent. Juefan's meaning was crystal clear. Either he surrendered, and both disciple and master would be his buddies, ensuring their safety, or stay enemies and be rooted out. He didn't want his sole disciple to be harmed, but Pill King Hall was his house. How could he betray it? Vicious Pill King was plagued with indecision. Picking up on his conundrum, Juefan grinned. Elder Yen, do you have any friends, lovers, or any cherished people in the Pill King Hall? Why do you want to know that? Vicious Pill King frowned, shrugging. Juefan chuckled. Not much. Since we'll be pals, it's best to know who they are, so I'll go easy on them if I ever meet them. Juefan spoke in such a heartfelt and touching tone that had Vicious Pill King nod sigh. No need for such compassion. Our great house doesn't only fight with outsiders, but also among ourselves. Especially when I became the first alchemist and earned my title, the fighting only intensified. I've given all my life to my house. I am not close to even the elders, only to my disciple. I hope Grandmaster Jua will spare him. Vicious Pill King's tone was mournful yet sincere. Juefan nodded. Does that mean Elder Yen concedes? I cannot. Pill King Hall is my home. What home? A place filled with coldness. A place undeserving of you is worthy of being called home? Juefan cut him off before he could finish. The way I see it, Pill King Hall is nothing more than a bank, loaning and collecting money. It should be proud of itself to raise a great alchemist such as yourself. But think about it. All those years you wasted on it is time you will never get back. You stand on the edge of a knife. Dwell on this reluctance of yours to leave it. Is Pill King Hall truly worthy to be called your home? Vicious Pill King was shocked to the core. Juefan also calmed down the bloodworm and let him think it through. Juefan wanted Vicious Pill King to surrender wholly, not be forced into submission. He would be better off without him otherwise. Who knew when he'd be sold out one day because of him? Besides, didn't you betray Pill King Hall? Juefan prodded Vicious Pill King, seeing him hesitating. What happened with Chu Qing Tian and the pill recipe? And don't you dare tell me he was a spy who would believe a normal disciple could steal the pill recipe. Isn't it more along the lines that you gave it to him? Startled, Vicious Pill King watched Juefan shocked. How did you know? Juefan sighed. Because you're too similar to the Chu Qing Tian. You are both fond of alchemy. Which alchemy master wouldn't like a disciple who loves alchemy as well as he does? Although you mocked Chu Qing Tian whenever he is mentioned, you have not once denounced his talent. In fact, you even find him pitiful. Vicious Pill King sat dazed on the ground, powerless to move, as he droned. As soon as the child arrived at the door, I knew of his origin. At the beginning, I have to admit, I held no good intentions towards him. Furthermore, I am usually haughty and shameless, doing whatever I liked. But his talent had me surprised, and I could no longer bear to hold such intentions towards him anymore. So, I let him steal the pill recipe, allowed him the opportunity to learn it on his own. If he could understand it, then he would have surpassed me. Such a pity, vicious Pill King sighed with sorrow. That was the only time I failed Pill King Hall. Humph! Only by making you admit your betrayal will you embrace it. Besides, any loyalist that had betrayed once will definitely do it again. Zhuo Fan shed some light. Elder Yen loves his disciples, and no harm was done even if the pill recipe was leaked, since no one could unravel it. Furthermore, you're dead, and no one will look into this betrayal of yours. What dead? Correct. Everyone saw how I killed you. I killed you then, and saved you now, without the eyes of the public. In other words, your life is mine. It no longer has anything to do with Pill King Hall. The words struck close to home. Vicious Pill King still held on to Pill King Hall, not because he cared for it, but being the place where he grew up. But Zhuo Fan said he died once, breaking all ties with Pill King Hall. Now it was time to think about the future and leave the past behind, and sure enough, Vicious Pill King's eyes changed. Hesitation growing stronger in him, Zhuo Fan thought it was about time to drive the last nail. You now have a choice. To return to being Pill King Hall's Vicious Pill King, and enemies to me along with your disciple, so that I may kill you again. Or accept my proposal and become Wingay City's Luo clan's Pill House's elder, be reborn and shake the world. Vicious Pill King's eyes flashed and laughed. Grandmaster, Zhuo's words are sweet. So I've already died once. In that case, I am willing to follow the great Grandmaster Zhuo into shaking Tianyu. Vicious Pill King looked more majestic than ever as he cupped his hands. Excellent. Nodding, Zhuo Fan flicked an azure pill to him. Vicious Pill King cried in shock. Isn't this one of the perfect 8th grade pills Grandmaster Zhuo refined? Why are you? To remove your poison. Zhuo Fan spoke in a heavy tone. I already saw through that pill recipe and improved upon it. This perfect 8th grade pill is made based on its instructions. It stated that to make the antidote, I first must make the poison. I used the 7 poisonous ingredients and then 7 more detoxifying ingredients to create this. Following that pill recipe, it was impossible to refine a true antidote. Also, the initial part of mixing those 7 poisonous ingredients was what ended up poisoning Tao Danyang and the others. Vicious Pill King felt even more admiration. Grandmaster Zhuo is without a doubt the best alchemist. You even understood the 1,000-year-old pill recipe of Pill King Hall with one look? Ha ha ha, you don't need to exaggerate. It took me 5 days. Zhuo Fan waved his praise in modesty, but Vicious Pill King's cheeks twitched. That's still fast. If the hall leader knew, he might end up crying. Chapter 174, Luo Clan's Calamity. Chapter 174, Luo Clan's Calamity. Vicious Pill King no longer hesitated and swallowed the pill in one gulp. He realized on the spot that Zhuo Fan saw through the flaw of the pill recipe, since he could make the antidote. The Rainbow Cloud Palm was made of 7 incredible poisons that only Pill King Hall could remove. But even that wasn't a real antidote, just diminishing the poison within the body so that it would no longer be deadly. Yet, as time passed, that little bit of poison would constantly harm the body. Anyone who used this palm was never long for this world. But to make their house look mighty, they chose to use it anyway. This skill was a double-edged sword to the point that his hair turned green, as well as his eyes. For this reason, they had planned to get their hands on the Bodhi Jade sap for centuries, not for evil intentions or swallowing Drifting Flowers edifice, but to use Bodhi Jade sap and dispel the poison as to Regent Estate entering the fray. That happened later. And Zhuo Fan, the eminent alchemist of his generation, not only understood the pill recipe, but even refined the antidote to its perfect form. 8th grade since Vicious Pill King, a grandmaster of his generation, knew how great this pill was. He took it without a shred of doubt. The pill roared in his belly like a dragon, turning into an azure dragon power that scoured every corner of his being as if alive. It rooted out every scrap of poison, yet was mild on his meridians while also increasing. His yuan qi, he was moved and immensely intrigued by this perfect 8th grade pill standing at the side. Zhuo saw him shining in an azure glow, and the green from his originally black hair was retreating, the wrinkles smoothed over as well, giving him a fresh and youthful air. Vicious Pill King flashed his black eyes open, free of any trace of poison, laughing. Vicious Pill King stood up. His manner grew more dignified as his power advanced a layer. He went from the 5th to the 6th layer of profound heaven stage. By the looks of him now, he ought to be in his 40s, and not the aged geezer from before sizing him up. Zhuo chuckled. Elder Yin, you truly have been reborn. Even your acquaintances may not recognize you. It is all thanks to Grandmaster Zhou's pill. I was filled with poison after practicing that art for far too long. Grandmaster Zhou is truly the best in the empire. Vicious Pill King cupped his hands in admiration, returning his gesture. Zhuo smiled. We are all on the same side now. So, there is no need to call me Grandmaster. You are an elder of the Luo clan, while I am but a mere steward. From now on, you can call me Steward Zhuo. Luo clan? Vicious Pill King's tone was odd. I heard that you came from a third-rate clan, but no one said anything about a Luo clan. Then again, thinking of Steward Zhuo's incredible talent, the Luo clan must be a hidden dragon, ready to rear its head and tower over all. It may not be as renowned as the 7 houses, but its might is that of a crownless king. Maybe later. Zhuo chuckled. Awkwardly, the Luo clan had only one profound heaven expert, who only broke through 2 damn years ago. At best, it'd be considered a second-rate clan. But with this old guy joining the fold, they'd make a good first-rate clan, but Zhuo appetite was far from being quenched. He wanted to raise the Luo clan above the other 7 houses in 10 years. To be the best clan in Tianyu, however, it was not a ripe time. They were far too weak. So what? Can't we steal what we miss? Didn't I do the same with this profound heaven elder here? Humph! If there's a first, there's bound to be a second. All in all, there was no one who could stop the demonic emperor from fulfilling his cunning plans. With a flash of insidiousness hidden in his eyes, Zhuo spoke heavily. Elder Yin, I promise you that the Luo clan is the best in Tianyu, second to none. Gasping Vicious Pill King was shocked. Not even Regent Estate had the gall to proclaim that. But the air about Zhuo made him realize this was not a joke. It made a believer out of him as well. With a genius like Zhuo around, any clan could become the best. He was so moved thinking that joining such a powerful clan would raise him to even greater heights. But how could he have known Zhuo words only applied to the future? Even so, he was simply thrilled. No, Steward Zhuo. When will we be returning to the clan? Vicious Pill King was quite eager. He was dying to see this hidden and powerful clan, although seeing it might be a tad bit of a letdown. Zhuo teached inside, but didn't let it show and waved him off. What's the rush? We'll get there eventually. I still have a task to fulfill, so you'll be coming with me. Slightly let down, Vicious Pill King nodded nonetheless. For such a freak, a hidden gem, a first-class troublemaker, one who slapped the 7 houses like they were children. Him staying in the Luo clan will forever be the clan's greatest fortune. Such confidence he has. That means the Luo clan must be a behemoth to stand above the 7 houses. Just how many ages have they laid in waiting? Beyond the prying eyes of the 7 houses and the imperial family. They must be strong for Steward Zhuo to be with them. As a new elder, I have to apply myself and not drag it behind. Vicious Pill King was having wonderful flights of fancy regarding this behemoth. What escaped his notion, however, was that the great Luo clan wasn't hidden to conceal its strength, but so downright weak no one paid it any attention. Zhuo knew what he was thinking, yet did nothing to bring his feet back to earth. He cared too much for the old man's heart. People always aimed higher and higher. The old guy, maybe listening to him since a little worm, worked its magic. But Zhuo still needed him to still be in an illusion. After all, Zhui Fan needed to keep his motivation high. By the way, Steward Zhua, aren't you afraid some ill might befall the clan after the ruckus you made in the drifting flower city? It was just a sudden thought, and soon he was shaking his head in self-mockery. How can such a clan be afraid of anything? Zhua Fan didn't much care either. Afraid of what? The 7 houses are banned from Wingay's city, and the other clans are trifles. Oh, I see. The Emperor issued the order just to protect our Luo clan. Vicious Pill King exclaimed, looking ever eager to see it, for even the Emperor to watch over it. This clan must be a paradise. It must be at least as strong as the 7 houses, since the Emperor ordered for the 7 houses to stay clear of this city. The more he thought, the more excited he was. This turncoat business might have been the best thing that ever happened to him. He cracked up. Ha ha ha, then I can rest easy. Even if Regent Estate comes knocking, they'll only suffer. I would really like to see their looks now. Staggering. Zhua Fan woodenly turned his head with a frown. You're saying Regent Estate can still go in? It dares violate the Emperor's edict? Steward Zhua, it seems our Luo clan had been hiding for too long and doesn't know everything. Vicious Pill King chuckled. Over the past millennium, the imperial family had given many orders to the 7 houses. But do you know why it never had a conflict with them despite them never obeying? Zhua Fan's eyes roamed in thinking, then suddenly focused. They were probing the imperial family's tolerance. Vicious Pill King laughed. Ha ha ha. Steward Zhua is indeed wise beyond his age. Indeed, the 7 houses were testing the imperial family, and these acts only increased over the last century. What was the imperial family's reaction then? Zhua Fan was anxious, weak, always the first to back down. Vicious Pill King squinted. The current emperor has to be the worst this empire has ever seen. The houses may respect him, but none fear him. And you even killed Regent Estate's second young master at Drifting Flowers edifice. The Regent Estate will surely use this excuse to step out of line and see the impact it has on the imperial family. Let's go! Zhua Fan was troubled and cut Vicious Pill King off as he flew straight for Wingay's city. Vicious Pill King was startled. Steward Zhua, where are we going? Home, this spells trouble. What trouble? With the power invested in the Luo clan, not even the imperial family dares enter its domain, least of all an outsider. The Regent Estate is bound to suffer a great deal of pain. What damn power? If I'm not there, there won't even be corpses left. Shouting, Zhua Fan sped away now. He regretted blowing the situation out of proportions back in the city. He didn't know the delicate relation between the imperial family and the 7 houses, that they'd enter a cold war. They may be cordial in the open, but conflict still arose among them if this kept up. Wingay City might be the fuse that would blow this charade sky high if the Regent Estate wasn't going to attack the Luo clan directly, but the imperial family. His clan would end up sacrificed by the imperial family to de-escalate the conflict. The more he thought, the faster he flew. Zhua Fan thought the imperial family's power was unquestionable, but it actually declined to such a degree Vicious Pill King might be clueless, but still dragged behind Zhua Fan as they sped toward the Luo clan. Chapter 175, Shaking the Nation. Chapter 175, Shaking the Nation. A month later, in the imperial capital, in a garden of mesmerizing beauty and singing birds, the emperor sat across from a wizened old man under a pavilion. At a closer look, it was easy to recognize him as being Mr. Sima. A stone table laid between them, with a chessboard filled with black and white pieces. Mr. Sima was playing the black pieces. The emperor held a white piece, still unclear as to the best place to put it. When he finally placed it, he chuckled sadly. Mr. Sima's skill is exquisite. I fall sorely short, but could you at least give me some leeway as an emperor? You won 10 matches already. Ha ha ha, your majesty is too modest. Mr. Sima chuckled. I am only able to grasp this square-foot area, while your majesty plays with the whole nation in mind. How could my meager skill ever compare? Your Majesty may have lost 10 chess matches, but has resolved the land's issues. It is I who has fallen dreadfully short. Ha ha ha, mister. Seema mustn't joke. In this land, it is unknown who shall be the true winner. But your Majesty has everything set in place, and is only waiting for the final piece, correct? Mister. Seema let a meaningful chuckle as he placed a black piece on the board. The Emperor's face twitched a second as they exchanged glances. Then they burst out laughing. I'm Imperial Father. A thundering cry came from behind, shaking with it the ground in its wake. The Emperor waved the maids to clean the board. Damn, that brat is back again. Ha ha ha. Your Majesty need not fret. I have come prepared. Mister. Seema waved for the maids to leave. As he smiled at the board, I brought a black iron board this time, so the third prince won't get to disturb the match. The Emperor smiled. Mr. Seema is thoughtful. A familiar figure rolled into their sights. The fatty was jumping over and quaking the ground with every step. The Emperor turned to the heavy-waiting Yuan Tsong and lamented. What did this kid eat to grow even fatter in these 3 months? Bang! Yuan Tsong ran for all he was worth at the Emperor, soaked in sweat and filled with panic. Watching the ball growing ever bigger, the 2 servant girls were feeling fear. Fear for their lives that the fatty would slip and barrel straight for them. Tsong-er, slow down! The Emperor pointed at him impatiently, but the warning fell onto Yuan Tsong's deaf ears as he strained to understand. What did you say, Imperial Father? His eyes, finally catching on to who the Emperor's guest was, had robbed him of the attention of what was in front. A mischievous rock found itself in his path, and the fatty was now falling to the ground like a ton of bricks. He found it odd as the ground only grew nearer, inertia working against him and turning him into a veritable living ball of flesh rolling on its merry way straight for the Emperor. The Emperor stood in shock and stepped back. Mister. Seema was too out of it. The third prince is a man of extraordinary talent. Who else can have such a precise shape? Bam! In his sighing, Yuan Tsong found himself shooting right before him. Taking out the stone table by happenstance, as well the black iron chessboard was also thrown to the ground, and the game scattered everywhere, his face twitching. Mister. Seema stood agape at the ball of flesh, itching to curse him. The ball was aiming for the match all along. But who'd have thought to lift the chess in that dire moment? And he even promised the chess match would be untouched. It was not only touched, but the board was entirely thrown off. Mr. Seema, are you all right? Yuan Tsong rubbed his poor spine as he crawled on his stubby legs. Mister. Seema's eyes twitched and took a deep breath. Third prince, few and far in between had managed to shame me. You should be proud to be one of them. Yuan Tsong was at a loss, blinking his bean-sized puppy eyes cluelessly. Suddenly, a bellow came from behind him. Tsong-er, how many times have I told you that a prince must remain calm and upright? What got you so frantic that you had to lose all decorum? With uncanny agility, Yuan Tsong kneeled and cried, Imperial Father, this time it's huge, Titanic! Humph, what Titanic? Are you going to say the sky is falling? With an angry snort, the Emperor flicked his sleeve at the servants to rearrange the table and bring tea. He took back his seat and shouted coldly at Yuan Tsong. Over the past century, the Tianyu Empire had been in harmony, filled with peace and prosperity. The biggest event was only 50 years ago, when Chuanrong had crossed the borders. The second is the death of Yu Giki 2 months ago. What could be more grave than these two? Yuan Tsong peeked at the Emperor as he mumbled, Imperial Father, this matter is indeed grave, at least far more than the situation 2 months ago. The Emperor was about to pour tea when his face turned grave. Who was it this time? Mary Woods's 6th elder, Lin Zetian. Yuan Tsong was kneeling as he reported, face twitching. The Emperor took a deep breath and took his teacup. Lin Zetian, he can be said to be someone of importance, but not up to the likes of you, Giki. Well, he's dead now. Oh, and who killed him? Luo clan steward, Xue Fan. What, him again? The Emperor perked an eyebrow. This kid only knows how to stir trouble. First was Hell Valley and now Merry Woods. Humph, he just doesn't know his limits and probably will be ending up dead in a ditch somewhere. Who knows by what lucky turn of events that he managed to kill Yu-Gi-Ki, and now he thinks he's a big shot around here. But your majesty, he is the pillar of the Luo clan. Anything he does will come back to bite the Luo clan, while your secret pearl order. I know. The emperor waved him off with a smile. He turned to see Mr. Seema's eyes flickering, as if already knowing what he was planning. I assume Mr. Seema is fond of talent and would like to outstretch a helping hand, perhaps? Ha ha ha. Helping him means helping the Luo clan, which in turn helps your majesty. Fine, if Mr. Seema wants to help him, then go ahead. I believe the Merry Woods would consider Mr. Seema's presence and will know restraint. The emperor smiled. Yuan Song looked up at the two, then blurted, Mr. Seema, I will have to trouble you to go to Hell Valley. Why would I? Mr. Seema asked just killing Yu-Gi-Ki got the Hell Valley to bear a deep-seated hatred for Zhufan. Going was pointless. With a sneaky smile, Yuan Song replied, because the kid also robbed Hell Valley's fifth elder of his arm. The Hell Valley is a powder keg ready to explode. Perhaps your face is great enough to fizzle it out. What? The emperor and Mr. Seema replied at the same time, while Mr. Seema went slack-jawed. You're saying the kid took Hell Valley's fifth elder's hand? How is that possible? Mr. Seema blinked the shock away. That fifth elder is a powerful body cultivator, just as Veiled Dragon Pavilion's third elder. He is known as the Diamondback Ape for crushing a whole mountain. And you mean to tell me this renowned expert got his arm ruined by an unknown kid? Who is unknown? At this point, the entire Tianyu heard of this demon archon, Zhuofan. He caused a sensation at the 100-pill meeting, fighting 1 against 7, yet standing invincible, while the 7 noble houses turned into a laughing stock, with 3 dead and 1 crippled. Yuan Song mocked this came as an even greater shock to the emperor and Mr. Seema. 3 died and 1 crippled. Lin Zitin died and 5th elder was crippled. Then who are the other 2? The emperor was getting nervous. Who? Vicious Pill King Yen Song. Yuan Song spoke with caution. SSS. The 2 gasped in shock. A dead Lin Zitin was no biggie, but Vicious Pill King was more well-known even compared to Yu-Gi-Ki, and was stronger, far stronger. With Vicious Pill King dead as well, the Pill King Hall wouldn't rest until either they or Zhuofan lay dead. Damn this brat. Is he looking to stir up heaven itself? He thinks that since the Luo clan is under our protection, he can just go wherever and kill whoever? The emperor was imperially pissed. Mr. Seema straightened his beard and sighed. Guess kicking up a storm is also a talent of sorts. Who knew the insignificant Luo clan could bring up such a savage? Ha ha ha, quite amusing. Mr. Seema, don't just go being fond of that kind of talent in front of me. This kid went past poking a hornet nest, and is now stabbing at heaven. Messing with 3 houses in one swing, sure, is amazing. He'd very soon find himself dead. That's how amazing he is. The emperor panted with rage. I hoped he'd be the one to revive Luo clan, but now I just pray he won't end up inviting calamity and ruining the Luo clan altogether, and my secret pearl order. Mr. Seema chuckled and tried to mollify him. Your Majesty, at worst, I'll just have to intervene and tie him down so he won't pull any more stunts. In the end, the 3 houses don't dare to openly defy the imperial might, going after the Luo clan. Maybe not them, but one house does. Yuan Song whispered with a grin. Now the 2 recalled there was 1 more dead unaccounted for. Who is he? Imperial father, it's best if you sit. Yuan Song emphasized every word. Regent Estate's 2nd young master, Huang Puqing Yin. SSS. Mr. Seema was struck dumb. The emperor was having a panic attack, breathing in and out to finally recover his voice. My heart, damn it! This brat went and poked the heavens. Chapter 176, Regent Estate's Invitation. Chapter 176, Regent Estates invitation. A silence had swallowed the imperial gardens, one it had never seen since its making. Even the birds felt the situation was dire. Not making a peep-u in Tsong, looked cautiously at the serious emperor, sunk in deep thought. Mr. Sima frowned. Your Majesty, with how thoroughly blown out of proportion this matter is, I leave the decision to you. Perhaps giving up on Luo clan is... The emperor started pacing. His brows locked tight after ages. He stopped. His eyes were incredibly calm, while also hiding a deep hint of freezing killing intent. No, I must protect the Luo clan and the boy. Waving, the emperor shouted, I have always exercised tolerance in my ruling, but this has gone far enough. They will push me down a cliff if I let this happen. Here's my decree. Inform Marshal Dugu to move swiftly. There's not a moment to lose. What? The second of the 4 pillars, war god Dugu Zhantian, is coming back. Yuan Tsong hesitated to speak, but Mr. Sima showed his unrest. Your Majesty, you can't. Marshal Dugu defends the borders. The Chuanrong wouldn't dare to step a foot beyond the Thunder Pond with him there. The border will descend into chaos if he leaves. You're exaggerating. For 30 years, the border had been peaceful. The emperor cut Mr. Sima's advice short. His eyes flashed coldly. I will show my cousin who this land belongs to. He has crossed my final line. Shuddering inside, Mr. Sima knew the emperor had made up his mind and sighed. Yuan Tsong bowed and then withdrew with the edict. The emperor looked up, his eyes flashing as he laughed coldly. Prime Minister's residence in the imperial capital, Prime Minister Zhuge Changfeng, was swinging in his rocking chair with his eyes closed in rest. Suddenly, a black figure came and whispered before vanishing again, opening his eyes. Zhuge Changfeng revealed a calculative look as a smile grew on his face. The monkey had stirred enough ruckus in the heavenly temple and made him nervous. To even have that old man return. Ha ha ha! The time for the war between the 7 houses and him is soon upon us. Since this is the case, let me spice things up. Smiley face, Journey to the West reference. Monkey King always caused havoc in every task Jade Emperor gave him. Zhuge Changfeng looked in his yard, elders Yin and Yang. Prime Minister Zhuge, what is it that you ask of us? 1 black and 1 white figure flashed before him. Zhuge Changfeng smiled. Do you know where Thunder Swarm Mountain is? It is a place for one of the Empire's tree guardian sects, the Demon Scheming Sect. There is a large barrier there. It detains the 4 greatest criminals, now suffering the strikes of 10,000 lightning bolts every day for the past 60 years. The black-haired elder spoke, nodding. Zhuge Changfeng smiled. Very good. Can you go there and get them out? What? The 2 exchanged a glance, thinking they had heard him wrong. Prime Minister Zhuge, why would you want to? This is the matter of Demon Scheming Sect that we shouldn't meddle in. Not only were the 4 savage disciples on the path of demonic cultivation, but held key positions within the sect. They can't be used. The white-haired elder cupped his hands, shaking his head. Zhuge Changfeng said, those 4 old fellows have been stuck there for 60 years. Demon Scheming Sect couldn't care less anymore. As long as we keep our mouths shut about this, no one will know. Also, I never planned on recruiting the 4. Now, can you 2 do it or not? Of course. The 2 elders nodded. They may have not come from a great sect, but their skills have very much sharpened over the centuries. A mere barrier couldn't stop them nodding. Zhuge Changfeng laughed. Good, now go. The already restless Tianyu will soon reach a boiling point. Ha ha ha. Meanwhile, Veiled Dragon Pavilion's pavilion lord, Long Yifi, was listening along with the elders to Long Zhou's report. The shock palpable once Long Zhou finished. All were bug-eyed. You mean to say that Hell Valley's 5th elder lost an arm? 3rd elder cried out, understanding his feelings. Long Zhou smiled wryly as he advised. 3rd brother should relax. The kid had taken the bursting pill first. If you had taken it... But You also said that the fifth elder ate it too. Third elder's face sank in disappointment. Long Geo rushed to say, yeah, you're right, but that kid ate 5. If you took 5-inch, I'd be a goner. Third elder cut him off with a sigh. He shook his mind clear and continued, moreover, he is only in the bone-tempering stage. Sigh, the young always surpasses the old. I must be getting too much in years. Long Geo watched him sink into depression, but didn't know what to say to make him feel better. If you know what's best for you, don't go comparing yourself with that little monster. An elder with white hair shouted. Third elder, why are you still hanging on to some meager honor? Did you not hear what it's at stake here? Regent Estates, Huangpu Qingyun, was killed. True, Regent Estates' imperial tyrant body art is mystical body art. Yet that kid blew away Huangpu Qingyun's lower body to smithereens. Just how strong of a body must he have to pull it off? I know that even I fall short. Third elder looked even more downcast. The elders who spoke held his forehead. Brother is hopeless. He then turned to Long Yifi. Pavilion Lord, this matter concerns Regent Estate, and it's best we do not get ourselves involved. If Regent Estate drags us into this because of the kid. But did you not hear Long Jiao? Regent Estate is targeting every other house. Even if the matter with Shuo Fan never happened, sooner or later they would come knocking on our door. If we cut ties with Shuo Fan, we'll only be avoiding the truth. We may soon find ourselves following in Drifting Flowers' edifice's footsteps. Another elder interrupted. From what you say, you want us to work together with Shuo Fan to fend off Regent Estate? This is giving them an excuse to wipe us off the earth. That will happen even without an excuse. Can we not see how much ambition the Regent Estate has? This will end us grounded down the same way it happened to Drifting Flowers' edifice. I'd rather fight now than see that happen. Enough! Long Yifi shouted over the clamor, breaking the argument. It is I who agreed to become allies with Shuo Fan, and this shall not change even now. The kid's display had opened my eyes, realizing he will be a great help to us. I will say this again, as long as Shuo Fan lives, our alliance with the Luo clan is still in effect. But Pavilion Lord, Regent Estate. Enough, this is my decision. Long Yifi's eyes flashed. Our alliance with Shuo Fan has always been followed through in the dark. The Regent Estate has no clue this is happening. They have nothing to use against us. So that's why, the other elders exclaimed. Pavilion Lord is brilliant. Humph, what brilliant? It's called tactics. Long Yifi let out a bitter laughter. He may hate this kind of person the most, but for the sake of his house, this was the best choice. Pavilion Lord, Regent Estate sent a letter. A disciple shouted from beyond the doors. Long Yifi looked at the elders, then let the man in Regent Estate came swiftly. The disciple bowed before Long Yifi and presented the letter with the Regent Estate words written in gold on it. Long Yifi was startled the moment he opened it. Third elder snatched the letter and his eyes widened. Regent Estate will hold an assembly half a month from now. The 7 houses are to convene and plan to remove the demon scourge. You mean? Long Yifi nodded. Regent Estate is playing a ferocious move this time. The last time they did this was just 300 years ago. Yeah, but that little monster 300 years ago had the 7 houses going crazy. Well, this time Regent Estate is playing this move just for its own benefit without even asking the opinion of the 6 houses. It is basically acting as though it is the head of the 7 houses. Third elder spat. The Veiled Dragon Pavilion cannot lose again in the next esoteric debate. The others all nodded. The other 5 houses received the Regent Estate's invitation at the same time. Suddenly, the 6 houses were now en route to convene with the Regent Estate on the plan to rid the world of demon Archon Shuo Fan. Achoo! Shuo Fan was speeding towards the Luo clan when he suddenly felt a chill and shuddered. He rubbed his nose. Blast it, who's cursing me this time? Why is it that I feel a chill on my back? Ha ha ha. Steward Jua kicked a storm in drifting Flower City, with casualties in the thousands. Their grief must be focused on you. Vicious Pill King was laughing at his side, having a blast to a fan raised an eyebrow and mocked. Elder Yen, Drifting Flower's edifice's grief is far stronger on you. Don't you feel the chill from the tens of thousand female disciples putting all their sorrow and pain on you? Vicious Pill King chuckled sheepishly. I'm used to it. Zhuo Fan grinned. None of them were good people, so this teasing had no effect on either of them. Wait. Zhuo Fan suddenly halted, and Vicious Pill King asked, What's wrong? Snickering, Zhuo Fan said, They move fast. An ambush is laid for us, not half a mile from here. Chapter 177, Sneak Attack. Chapter 177, Sneak Attack. What? Vicious Pill King watched Zhuo Fan baffled. Then he recalled how in Drifting Flower City, Zhuo Fan's soul reached the radiant stage and new discerning field, and after so much time had passed, it would have been odd if he couldn't get more used to it and detect movements in half a mile closing his eyes. Zhuo Fan said, In a forest half a mile out, two people are hiding to the west. From their energy, they must be from Hell Valley. To the east, there are also two quick on their feet, probably Merrywoods. And finally the two in the north, with heavy air about them. Cultivators of Imperial Tyrant Body Art are experts from Regent Estate. And all six of them are in the fifth layer of Profound Heaven Stage. Steward Jua is amazing to use Radiant Stage's ability. Vicious Pill King praised. Now we can just avoid them and let them wait forever, ha ha ha. Quirking an eyebrow, Zhuo Fan snickered. And why should we? Since they are here, we might as well duke it out. Steward Jua, you can't. Vicious Pill King was flustered as he tried to explain. They are clearly prepared this time. In the Drifting Flower City, you fought the four of us, and, as much as it pains to admit, we underestimated you. Not to mention, we were all from different houses, with gaps in our cooperation. Now that the houses sent pairs, even if you take that pill again, it will only make them drag it out, then end you at your weakest. Raising an eyebrow, Zhuo Fan eyed him deeply. I didn't think the old man would be so caring so quickly. He said, I was alone then, but don't I have you now? Me? Vicious Pill King shook his head. The common folk fears me for my rainbow cloud palm. But with how many there are here, only one has to bear the brunt of my poison, and I will be a goner. Later, he just has to go get the antidote from Pill King Hall. I'm sure you are clear on this from the moment you fought my disciple. Indeed, he was posing as Songyu at the time, but being relentless was the bane of Pill King Hall's poison. At worst, it was one life at the price of another. Moreover, the enemy was now working together. Even if they did get poisoned, Pill King Hall would offer the antidote, and Vicious Pill King's threat would plummet. What if you can poison them all? Won't their power drop? Eyes flashing. A grin was plastered on Zhuo Fan. Vicious Pill King didn't seem to get it. How can I? They're not stupid to sit still and take on my palm. And they're all profound heaven experts. They may not be able to use Radiant Stage's abilities, but they can at least discern any movements in a 1,000-meter radius. The moment we approach, they'll spot us and we'll have no chance of retaliation. Smiley face, author mistake perhaps? First half a mile, now a kilometer? Smiley face might not be. He got used to it, but he is still new. It might be that the ability is stronger. And if they can't spot us... Zhuo Fan watched Vicious Pill King with a playful smile. Vicious Pill King was baffled, then saw a red pill thrown his way. Vicious Pill King watched it, even more perplexed. Zhuo Fan said, This is an energy-concealing pill, a first-grade pill. For a full day, your energy won't be released. Unless someone sees you, or a Radiant Stage expert actively searches for you, no one will notice. Zhuo Fan took one in a blink. His aura vanished. Vicious Pill King watched dumbstruck. Since when did such a marvelous pill exist in this world? How come I never heard of it? And a first grade as well. Vicious Pill King's shock and disbelief were understandable. Zhuo Fan mocked. It is an ancient pill recipe. How could you know of it? But that's not important. I will tell you about it later since I recruited you to help me to make pills. The energy concealing pill will be of great importance later. For now, stick close. We will talk again after we deal with these pesky flies. Zhuo Fan resumed flight. Vicious Pill King swallowed it after a moment of shock, then followed him, excitedly putting aside how amazing the Luo clan was. Just getting to study these ancient pills from Zhuo Fan was a reward in and of itself. Following this kid was the best choice I ever made. Vicious Pill King's heart was dancing in joy, the same as when he made his first living pill. In a hidden part of the forest, 2 elders in white sat on 2 rocks with their eyes closed. Even so, they were always on guard, listening to every rustle, every gust of wind, only when they were certain the gust wasn't made by some expert. Did they relax, third brother? Will that kid really pass through here? We've been at this for days, and there's still no sign of him. Did he pass us already or took another route? One elder muttered. The other elder still held his eyes closed and his position on the rock. Mr. Lung is famed for his insight. He doesn't make mistakes. He said that we will meet the killer of 6th brother here today. It will soon be over. Just be patient. But all this waiting is so boring. The other elder sighed then. A black shadow moved closer, unperceived by the pair. When it got behind them with a thunderous roar, 2 wings ran the 2 through Zhuo Fan, then came out of the shadow, spatting blood. The 2 elders opened their eyes and strained their heads behind them, just to see Zhuo Fan looking down on them. I was afraid you 2 would spot me, so I used elusive shadow art, but you guys always had your eyes closed. You can't be serious, even when laying an ambush. Sigh, Mary Woods is doomed to perish. Under the shock of the 2, Zhuo Fan twisted their necks. Then black energy swallowed the bodies, leaving naught but ash in its wake. The 2 were so dumbstruck before, still disbelieving to be caught off guard, so thoroughly clapping. Zhuo Fan shrugged. He learned from his encounter with Lin Ziqian that Mary Woods's cultivation method boasted great speed. So he figured he'd rather deal with these 2 first and remove the trouble later. What he didn't expect was for this pair to wait in ambush with eyes closed. They were clearly begging for it. You mean to say killing 4 elders of the 7 houses doesn't warrant any contingencies? Well, they make it easier for me to do what I want, at least. After devouring the 2 experts, he could feel the yuan qi inside him surging. Zhuo Fan turned to the west, at where Hell Valley's elders lay in wait. Humph! Old enemies do meet often, it seems. Zhuo Fan snickered, turned into a shadow, and began haunting his way forward. The elders in the west weren't like Mary Woods, waiting idly. Their aura was somber, and watching over any sign of movement around them. They knew Zhuo Fan for who he was, and never dropped their guard for a second. Third elder, the kid is late, and it's making me nervous. An elder watched around, ready to pounce. His hawk eyes scrutinized every inch. The other elder was just as vigilant, but through some strange coincidence, he always kept 100 meters from his partner. 4th elder, the kid not only killed 7th elder, but even crippled 5th elder. He is vicious to the core and hard to handle. We must not underestimate him for being in the bone-tempering stage. He will be here soon, and we must work together and avoid ending like 7th elder and 5th elder. Relax. I consider this kid a veteran, profound, heaven expert. The 4th elder nodded with a grave expression. A shadow was creeping in on him, listening to his words. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow and mocked them in his mind. You don't say. Your welcoming of your enemy is truly worthy of this demonic emperor. Although, how am I to ambush you when you're so on edge? Zhuo Fan started recalling the 2 wastes from Mary Woods. Those guys saved him a lot of trouble, but what about this pair? He would be hard-pressed to get rid of these 2 quickly. Not to mention, they were higher than 5th elder in rank. Sighing, Zhuo Fan began to hesitate then. He heard a boom, and a rainbow mist rose in the north. Everything this mist touched, be it plants, animals, and even rocks, decayed. The 2 elders looked in shock. Rainbow cloud palm. Why is Pilkinghall here? I thought they weren't included in this plan. Third elder asked fourth elder, paused, then waved indifferently. Didn't the kid kill their best alchemist? I heard that he stole his corpse later on. This is one shame they can't take lying down. I suspect they came here willingly. Anyway, the more we are, the better the odds. But why are they using rainbow cloud palm? Third elder paused, then came to a shocking conclusion. The other elder's eyes shined and shouted, "They found the kid! We better hurry and help." But before they could even take to the skies, they saw two people rushing towards them. The elders panicked. Aren't they Regent Estates elders? Why are they poisoned? Was it an accident? In their moment of doubt, a shadow flitted behind them. Chapter 178, Nefarious. Chapter 178, Nefarious Whoosh. As third elder and fourth elder were still trying to make sense of the Regent Estates elders' poisoning, Juefan stabbed his wings towards fourth elder's chest, who was run through in a blink. He began to feel a sting in his chest, then how his body grew ever weaker. As the life ebbed out of him, he then slumped on the ground. "Fourth elder!" Third elder roared, but Juefan's second wing was already coming at him, however. These two elders matched well with each other even in their daily lives, more so in battle. They attacked and retreated in such a way that they always maintained a fixed distance. This was happening now as well, making Juefan's attack only take down fourth elder, while third elder was just too far away for him to reach in time. Third elder jumped backward and dodged the lightning wing. He saw fourth elder's corpse, then turned his bloodshot eyes to Juefan. Thirsting for revenge, Juefan glanced at the corpse below him, then at the profound heaven expert opposite of him, and grinned. "Are you that demon Archon Juefan?" Third elder clenched his fists, his aura exploding with immense power. He was in the 8th layer of profound heaven stage. Not even a pill could guarantee Juefan a win in this fight, but Juefan kept his cool at all times, nodding slightly, then looking at the dead fourth elder. "Is he your brother? You fit quite well together. What's it to you? You killed 7th elder, 4th elder, and crippled 5th elder. I will make sure you never leave this place alive." Third elder spat through clenched teeth, yet his ever-raging eyes couldn't help but pause over his brother's body, taking it all in. Juefan snickered. He then had the corpse suspended with his lightning wings. "What are you doing?" Third elder roared, "To my enemy, I will not only kill him, but ruin his corpse as well, making him die in regret." Juefan snorted. Third elder was about to charge, but Juefan suddenly sighed, however. Third elder stared wide-eyed. "Seeing you brothers so close, I will let him go. After all, I also have a brother earned from life and death struggles, only to die at the hands of you, Kiki. If not for this, I wouldn't have had any quarrel with Hell Valley." Juefan sighed and shook his head. Third elder was stunned, relating to this third-rate clan kid and why he became Hell Valley's enemy. Thinking of his earlier action, he also would have charged and exact revenge for his brother regardless of peril. Even so, "You think I'll let you go?" Third elder snorted. Angry still, Juefan snickered and raised his head to show his blazing eyes. "For my brother's revenge, I have incurred upon me today's disaster, but I do not regret it. How could I ask my enemy for forgiveness? But seeing you meet the same fate as I did, I won't ruin his body and return it to you." Juefan flicked lightning wings and threw the corpse to third elder. Third elder moved with haste, now looking at Juefan with a faint trace of respect as he bellowed, "Good! We will have a man-to-man fight and see who's the real Ugh." Third elder stopped for some reason, feeling a chill in his heart. Looking down, he saw a fist-sized hole in his chest that wasn't there before blood flowed in rivers from it. Third elder looked at Juefan in complete and utter perplexity. "What's going on? We didn't even start fighting, and I'm already dying?" With a snicker, Juefan waved. A golden light came from third elder's back, flying over next to Juefan. Third elder watched the golden infant closer. "This is my demonic creature. I hid it in the body and threw it over all so I could catch you off guard. That is why I also cooked up that little story about my dead brother. I only killed you geeky for being an eyesore. Waving at third elder, Zhuo Fan sent him off with his most demonic smile he could muster. Fare thee well, loyal and cherishing Hell Valley's third elder. I hope you won't be so gullible to a stranger's words in your next life, especially your enemies, ha ha ha, falling backward. Third elder felt himself going colder, his eyes still reflecting Zhuo Fan's last smile. Demon Archon Zhuo Fan's nefarious ploys are foolproof. No wonder even seventh elder fell victim. Bam! Third elder fell next to his brother. Yet, as his mind stopped working, those eyes were forever opened and evoked unspeakable regret. They were sent here to end Zhuo Fan, only to fumble about and die so miserably. I took too long here. Better go and help Elder Yen. Sighing, Zhuo Fan took back Blood Infant and flew up high. In 4 breaths, he arrived above the northern part of the forest. The Regent Estate's elders were now green with poison. Despite being in the 9th stage of Profound Heaven stage, the poison was nonetheless effective in dropping them all the way to the 4th layer. Yet, even in such a case, a body cultivator was still as strong as a normal 6th layer Profound Heaven expert. Recalling Huangpu Qingyun's might in his 2nd layer, he realized Regent Estate's body cultivators were not pushovers. It was an accident. I made a mistake. I thought Demon Zhuo Fan was hiding here. Bullshit. Who in this world doesn't know we are from Regent Estate? Especially with these clothes. Don't try to play the fool. You did this on purpose. Stay right there. We'll break your bones, and we will go together to your Pill King Hall to settle this. Up in the sky, vicious Pill King fled like a frightened mouse, with the 2 Regent Estates elders on his tail, with how vicious Pill King was proclaimed dead and rejuvenated a couple decades after removing the poison. These 2 elders had no clue as to who he really was, but he wasn't about to shout it out either. Would a traitor like him have any resting moment from Pill King Hall and the entire Empire's pursuit? He may be vicious Pill King, but he was not as skilled as Zhuo Fan, and clearly not as bold to be hunted down by everyone Zhuo Fan's side, where had the great and might vicious Pill King from Drifting Flowers edifice gone to? Why was he such a scaredy cat before 2 of Regent Estate's elders? Is it Regent Estate too strong, or vicious Pill King just too damn weak? Zhuo Fan already knew the answer, but didn't want to accept it, because his troubles would grow exponentially if it was, so Regent Estate, I will surpass you in 10 years. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed, spotting Zhuo Fan. Vicious Pill King laughed, as if he found a savior. Steward Joy, you finally came. Save me. Vicious Pill King dashed behind Zhuo Fan without an ounce of propriety at this point. The 2 elders also caught up. Seeing Zhuo Fan's lightning wings, they shouted, Bone-tempering stage cultivation. Lightning wings, you're that demon Archon Zhuo Fan who made a mess of Drifting Flower City. The one and only. And you 2 must be from Regent Estate. I take it. Zhuo Fan said with a chill in his voice. They nodded. Then eyeing vicious Pill King behind him with curiosity. Now I see. Pill King Hall had turned to rely on Demon Archon Zhuo Fan. No wonder he attacked us on the sly. You still dare say it was an accident? Vicious Pill King, snickered the 2 elders, snorted. Why do you think Regent Estate's imperial tyrant body art makes us the best among the 7 houses? It's that not even your rainbow cloud palm can kill us. We will crush you both and fulfill our mission. Humph, you're a broken record, you know that? You're clearly weaker now and still prance around saying you can take us on? Zhuo Fan snorted in disdain. The 2 elders cracked up. Even weakened, we are more than enough to wring the life out of you. I don't believe you. Why not try killing him first? Zhuo Fan chuckled and threw Vicious Pill King forward. Vicious Pill King cried in panic. Did Zhuo Fan just sell me out? The 2 were puzzled, but still grabbed tight to Vicious Pill King. Feeling him trembling in their grasp, they were stumped. Grinning evilly, Zhuo Fan said, You shouldn't take him for the coward he is. He has real skill, you know. To prove his point, a golden glow came out of Vicious Pill King, and entered one of the elders. The elder froze in place, and one could even see how he started drying up like a raisin. His life was swiftly leaving him shell-shocked. The other elder darted 100 meters back. Even Vicious Pill King was just as horrified. He never saw Zhuo Fan make use of Blood Infant, nor kill with demon transformation art. Now he was watching this all play out in utter fear. How can such an abominable and cruel method exist? Floating before Vicious Pill King, Zhuo Fan recalled Blood Infant sneakily and laughed at the frightened remaining Regent Estate elder. Did you see that? Now, can you still boast about taking us on? The elder had his voice shocked out of him and watched Vicious Pill King in horror. Forget it. That old guy is inconsequential. What matters is I get Zhuo Fan's head and complete my mission. I don't need to worry myself with that old man's eerie skill. The elder took a deep breath and laughed. Kid, you're good to have found such a patron. Then, I will spare your life today, but what is that? Suddenly, the elder pointed behind the two, with panic Zhuo Fan, and Vicious Pill King turned to look. In that blink, the elder snickered and appeared before Zhuo Fan in a single step, aiming for Zhuo Fan's head. Bam! The elder didn't get to touch one hair on his head, however, as a golden light flew from Zhuo Fan and blew a hole in the elder's chest. Zhuo Fan turned back to see the shocked elder. That's the oldest trick in the book. Don't you know anything else? Now, I finally know what that old saying means, all brawn and no brain. Chuckling, Zhuo Fan lightly pushed, and the man fell like trash in the abyss. Vicious Pill King had long been stupefied by how easily Zhuo Fan dealt with two experts from Regent Estate. He now understood what it meant to kill people as easy as chatting. Chapter 179, Unwanted Contriver. Chapter 179, Unwanted Contriver. Whoosh! The golden light, moved about then, returned to Zhuo Fan's side. Vicious Pill King watched the golden infant with shock. What just happened? Simple, really. Since you fled around like a mouse, they held you in contempt. So I put my demonic creature in you, before throwing you over to deal with one of them. Grinning, Zhuo Fan added, when a powerful, profound heaven expert died without rhyme or reason, it got his partner scared out of his mind. I used this chance to recall the demonic creature. This time, he held you in too high regard, thinking you hid yourself to pull a fast one on them. And by comparison, he thought I was the easy target this time and charged for me. And to make matter run smoothly, he had his attention split between me and you, leaving room for my demonic creature to catch him off guard. Vicious Pill King blinked. Still out of sorts, Zhuo Fan laughed. In the end, they all died. First was arrogance, second overconfident, third conceitedness. Ah, Steward Zhuo, aren't they all the same? Vicious Pill King muttered, raising an eyebrow. Zhuo Fan laughed harder. Indeed, this is the disease that plagues every expert. Facing them head first will make me lose, without a doubt. Too bad, they were too full of themselves. To others, this will hardly matter. But when it comes to me, a fraction of a second of carelessness is enough for me to give them a death full of regrets. A bolt of fear went through his core as Vicious Pill King watched Zhuo with even more admiration now that he thought about it. Everything panned out just as Zhuo Fan explained. It was all done with the sole purpose of baiting the Regent Estate elders, and it worked like a charm without even realizing it. The two bit the dust in but a blink rather than say this was a well-thought-out and ingenious trap preset by Zhuo Fan. It was in fact more along the lines of him reading them like a book and pushing the right buttons to make them fall into a trap themselves. Such cunningness is unheard of. No wonder even Yugiki fell. Vicious Pill King held a deep respect for Zhuo Fan now. Steward Zhuo is of endless wisdom and courage with foolproof plans. But being just a steward is a waste for you. Humph, you don't need to go ass-kissing. I am clear where my talent lies. Nothing is beneath me, be it a higher rank or the entire world. Only, Zhuo Fan sighed as he looked in Wingay City's direction, this wasn't the time for such thoughts, but to settle the safety of Luo clan and avoid any trouble they might suffer. This wasn't just forced on him by his heart demon, but a wish that slowly crept into his mind without his notice, since vicious Pill King didn't know the whole story. He thought it was for a much higher purpose. His eyes roamed in thought, then snapped into focus when he reached a shocking conclusion. A youth of remarkable talent like Zhuo Fan was willing to be a steward, and what was a steward? The clan head's right-hand man, able to do everything and loyal to a fault. What monster was this clan head to be able to raise such a young and outstanding Zhuo Fan, yet as cunning and vile like a demon archon? Seeing Zhuo Fan's look, that staunch resolve to do everything in his power for the Luo clan, his admiration only grew for this clan head. This was his first time hearing Tianyu had such a titanic clan, such a person of overbearing might. Vicious Pill King was eager to meet this person and was jumping in joy inside Vicious Pill King, was having a flight of fancy of epic proportions, hailing the Luo clan into the ranks of 7 houses, while holding the clan head in even more admiration and regard than the emperor himself. How could he ever have known the Luo clan was not even a first-rate clan? That the clan head was long rotting in the dirt and leaving a pair of wretched brother and sister behind. They should be thankful Zhuo Fan was there to keep their sorry lives. Delusions were bliss, while reality a dump. But that was something dear vicious Pill King would have to experience for himself when he gazed upon the glorious Luo clan. Let's go! Zhuo Fan was ready to resume their journey when vicious Pill King laughed. Steward Zhuo, are those other 2 places handled? Zhuo Fan knew what he was hinting at and rolled his eyes. Cut the crap. Think I had time to waste saving your sorry ass if I hadn't finished those other 4 blokes? Ha ha ha. Steward Zhuo is of genuine talent. 4 profound heaven experts from Merry Woods and Hell Valley dealt with in a blink. All while I couldn't even handle 2 Regent Estate elders. I am ashamed. Vicious Pill King's admiration only grew, and the more he admired Zhuo Fan, the more he believed in Luo clan's power, and, of course, sinking deeper into his delusion. Suddenly, Zhuo Fan stopped, and Vicious Pill King looked over. Zhuo Fan squinted. Elder Yan, I overheard Merry Woods' elders mentioning that Mr. Lung planned this ambush. Do you know him? Lung Wuchang. Zhuo Fan's words stirred Vicious Pill King. No wonder. I thought with so many roads leading to Wingay City, how is it they managed to pick the exact same one we were taking? So it was all Lung Wuchang's doing. You know him? Nodding, Vicious Pill King sighed. To be frank, Steward Zhuo and Lung Wuchang are much alike. I know nothing about him. Just how are we so damn alike? Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed, knowing Zhuo Fan didn't understand. Vicious Pill King elaborated. Ha ha ha. What I mean to say is that he is a steward like you, but that of the Regent Estate. What? Zhuo Fan was shocked for a second, then he started making guesses. With how Regent Estate was the strongest of the 7 houses, the steward, the aide of the clan head, had to be a man of renown. There are 3 people widely known for their wisdom in Tianyu Empire. Prime Minister Zhuge, one which you already know. Regardless of what decisions he makes, they are all so irrefutably correct that no one could find any fault in them. In recent centuries, the empire had been in turmoil because of invaders beyond the borders. That was until he took office. As the head of the 4 pillars, the emperor hates him to the bone, but he can't do without him either. The 7 houses as well fear him. Vicious Pill King flicked his sleeve and continued. The second sage is Regent Estate Steward, unwanted contriver Lung Wuchang. As a distant relative of the imperial family, the Regent Estate is taught in the same way an emperor is. Their steward was also appointed by the prime minister. Lung Wuchang may be a steward in name, but his position carries a whole lot more weight. He is equivalent to Zhuge Changfeng's position in the empire. Regarding talent, rumor has it he is not one bit inferior to Zhuge Changfeng either, although no one had seen them wage a battle of the minds. Lung Wuchang is admired by all for his foolproof plans and insight. And the third? Zhuo Fan was impatient seeing Vicious Pill King stop, just now laughing. Vicious Pill King's eyes shined oddly. Steward Zhuo, isn't it obvious? It is you who killed the third. Insidious demon, you geeky? Joa Fan caught his meaning. Vicious Pill King nodded. Ha ha ha, yes'm. The third sage was Insidious Demon, famed for his dastardly and cunning ploys. But ever since he stumbled upon Steward Joa, a man of wildly greater intellect, his head fell like a rock. From that point on, Steward Joa became the third sage of Tianyu. Hey, easy on the bootlicking. I killed him using power alone. I didn't waste my brain power on him. That would have been tiresome. Joa Fan mocked as he brushed off his flattery. Vicious Pill King stroked his beard and nodded. I guessed as much. You geeky may not be up to the level of the other two, but it is none the less hard to catch him off guard. So he must have died from the power gap. Does that mean Lung Wuchang is more cunning than you, geeky? Joa Fan tightened his brows as the topic was brought out, nodding. Vicious Pill King laughed in dismay. Ha ha ha, more than that. Zhuge Changfeng is a marvelous strategist. Lung Wuchang's every scheme plays as it should. Yu Geeky's devious traps are unsolvable. Compared to the first two, Yu Geeky was passable in schemes, but fell dreadfully short in power. The first two had intricate plans put in place, hard to defend from the dark, yet openly for everyone to see. You could see through Yu Geeky's elaborate tricks, but when it comes to Zhuge Changfeng and Lung Wuchang, you'll have no choice but to jump even if they tell you a trap is before you. Who is better? Who is inferior? Who is stronger? Who is weaker? Steward Joa, now do you know the difference between them? Vicious Pill King sighed, his tone ever solemn. Since Lung Wuchang is involved, we must tread carefully and lightly. Joa Fan nodded, since he was far more shrewd than Yu Geeky. Then he would not contest him in cunning, but in strength. No matter how ingenious and convoluted plans he threw at Joa Fan, power reigned supreme. This was the true plot. In which power was the true way. This brought him back to finding experts to back the Luo clan who. A sudden breeze blew, and Joa Fan squinted. He grew anxious as he pulled Vicious Pill King's hand to fly faster. Let's go! What's wrong, Steward Joa? Having never seen him so alarmed, Vicious Pill King was startled, eyes twitching. Joa Fan gnashed his teeth. Curses, they sent a Radiant Stage expert as well. What? This time Vicious Pill King was panicking. How can this be? Chapter 180. Paying Respects to a Radiant Stage. Chapter 180. Paying Respects to a Radiant Stage. Half a mile out, a tall and buffed elderly with silver hair was flying idly behind them. Then, his brows furrowed and a hint of shock swept his face. Was I discovered? The elderly's eyes flashed in suspicion, then shook his head. Not possible. They are only a bone-tempering stage and a profound heaven stage. Only the likes of Radiant Stage experts can discover me. They picked up the pace since they were hurrying. Yes, that has to be it. Laughing dryly, the elderly had no clue how close to home his random guess brought him. If these two, with their low cultivation, could spot a Radiant Stage, then the latter would find themselves obsolete. The old man used his soul to scour the place of battle and shouted, Damn brat, they're so weak, yet they killed 6 profound heaven experts of 3 houses, and perfectly too. His reputation precedes him. The kid must have an even more valuable body cultivation method than imperial tyrant body art. He licked his lips, and excitement danced in his eyes as he increased his speed, but his act was easily picked up by Joa Fan as he pulled Vicious Pill King even faster. There was no denying it this time. The old man was spotted. Why else would Joa Fan react so quickly? Then he recalled his earlier thought about being obsolete. His face went red in a flash and felt like slapping himself for those needless remarks. But the way he looked at Joa Fan was with even more zeal. This kid is a freak through and through. How amusing. The old man ramped up his speed 10 times, and in mere breaths he already caught the two in his sights, only 1,000 meters out startled. Joa Fan found his pursuer close behind and shouted, Shit, the old guy is almost on top of us. What, that fast? Vicious Pill King peeked behind and paled in fright. Why did it have to be this freak? My poor life is over. You know him. Joie Fan asked. Vicious Pill King nodded on the verge of tears. Who doesn't? Everyone of my generation knows and fears this freak. Who is he? The Mad Dipper, Li Jingtian. Vicious Pill King swallowed dryly as he broke out in cold sweat. Joie Fan was also becoming anxious, having never seen Vicious Pill King so scared before. With how arrogant he usually was, he would stand up even to a radiant stage if the chance arose. Just then, a booming laughter entered their ears. Ha ha ha, don't run, I recognize you. Aren't you that Yen Song kid? And is that little imp next to you is Joie Fan? You better halt. There's something I want to discuss with you. Vicious Pill King's face sank. Why is it that my face changed so much that those two Regent Estate elders couldn't tell who I am even when they held me? Yet, you saw through me from a mile away. Then he realized. The old freak just scanned with his soul and instantly knew the truth. Joie Fan could feel the shivering Vicious Pill King and was panicking, as well this guy was no pushover. Their fate would be grim once the old guy gets his paws on them. Only a moron would stop. Now his lightning wings flapped and doubled his speed. Humph! Learn when to quit. Squinting, Li Jingtian released a ripple that shot straight for the two with deadly precision, killing with intent. Joie Fan looked back flustered as the azure flame flashed in his eyes. Another visible ripple was shot, incomparable with the first, but enough to pull up a defense against the first one. Bam! The two intents clashed, vibrating the space itself. A bolt of pain shocked Joie Fan's head, and the azure flame appeared on his forehead next. Joie Fan pulled Vicious Pill King speeding up. As he tried to ease the shock, he felt his soul may have entered the radiant stage. But he was a long way from being Li Jingtian's level. When their intents collided, it forced his azure flame out. He was clear the azure flame safeguarded his soul. Its appearance proved what a serious threat the old man's intent had to his soul. Despite not meaning to kill him outright, even so, his soul wasn't free from injury if that intent had hit. He'd be out cold and waiting for the old guy to pick him up while he was shocked. 1,000 meters behind him, Li Jingtian was downright struck dumb. He really didn't see it coming. Only a radiant stage could grasp this ability, yet he just witnessed a bone-tempering cultivator using it. He looked as if he saw a tiger sprout wings and take off. Not only was it impossible, but seeing it become reality, he realized what a true freak that kid was. A tiger was the king of beasts. If it took flight, then who could stand up to him? He felt a real threat coming off from Joie Fan. He could use Radiant Stage's abilities in the bone-tempering stage. Then, when he reached the Radiant Stage, he'd be unstoppable at that point. Even fellow Radiant Stage cultivators would fall beneath the kid's intent. This last thought sent a shiver down Li Jingtian's spine. No wonder the 7 houses gathered to end this brat once, and for all the best freak out, there was a dead one. Leave him alone, and he might grow even beyond the demon. 3 centuries ago, bloodthirst seeped into Li Jingtian's eyes. If he found Joie Fan amusing at first, now he wanted nothing more than to squeeze the last drop of life out of him and rid the world of a future menace. But that didn't say anything about not wringing out the things he wanted first. Li Jingtian went faster, shooting for the 2 like a meteor. Joie Fan could barely react as their necks were grabbed in steel like vices. Ha ha ha, let's see you run now. So fast. Joie Fan scowled, wondering if he should use this chance to let Blood Infant on him. But he cast that thought aside as soon as it came. This man was in the Radiant Stage and had discerning field around him. Blood Infant would be discovered the instant it left his body. Unless Blood Infant entered the Profound Heaven Stage and reached a speed that surpassed a Radiant Stage's soul detection, a pity. He was only in the 5th layer of bone-tempering stage. Since he shared his life with Blood Infant, the 2 had the same cultivation. God damn it, why did I bump into a Radiant Stage? Joie Fan cursed inside his bad luck as cold sweat ran down his back. He was utterly powerless in the face of a Radiant Stage expert. This feeling of having his life in the hands of someone else was the worst he'd ever felt. Not to mention, dangerous, ha ha ha. You little prick. I don't know how you become so young and handsome, but no matter how fast you run, you can never escape me." Ignoring Zhuofan, Li Jingtian turned to the shivering Vicious Pill King, looked as if he just lost his mum. "Senior Li, how can I compare to you? When you became widely known throughout Tanyu, I was but a lowly second-grade alchemist. Don't you care how people will see you if you kill me?" "Oh, I always heard how haughty Vicious Pill King, but you looked more like a mouse to me. Where's your zeal, your backbone?" "Elderly, don't joke. I would never dare act pompous before you," Vicious Pill King said downcast. "Senior Li, in the end, you are Regent Estate's guest venerable. This is obviously a misunderstanding between the houses. Why not?" "Houses?" Raising an eyebrow, Li Jingtian cracked up. "You mean Regent Estate and Pilking Hall, or Regent Estate and Zhuofan's clan?" Vicious Pill King's mind shivered at this. He was planning on keeping his dumb act to get out of this alive. But it didn't look like this was going to happen any time sooner. Li Jingtian's smile was frosty. "Don't think I don't know. I saw your fight earlier. You turned your back on Pilking Hall and threw your lot with Zhuofan." Vicious Pill King was stumped, turning to Zhuofan for a way out. Since going back to Pilking Hall was out, betraying Zhuofan was impossible. That would make him immoral. He was Vicious Pill King, not an opportunist like Lin Zetian who swung both ways. He still cared about his face, albeit younger, sighing. Vicious Pill King admitted, "Yes, I left Pilking Hall. I will follow Steward Zhuo to the Luo clan. Now, if you want to kill me, go ahead." Zhuofan nodded inside. He saw Vicious Pill King as a devout alchemist foremost, and a loyalist second. A man you could count on. Li Jingtian didn't expect such a blunt reply and laughed. "Good. Yen Song, you live up to your rumors. I will let you go, but this kid—" "You want to kill me?" Zhuofan raised an eyebrow, staring at Li Jingtian. "Sure. I mean, you are Regent Estate's venerable, and I killed your second young master, and you want vindication. But I couldn't help but hear that you are their guest venerable and have no relation with Regent Estate. Where are you going with this?" Li Jingtian's eyes flashed grinning. Zhuofan spoke boldly. "Then let's discuss terms for you to join me. What Regent Estate offers you, I, Zhuofan, can not only meet their offer, but double it." Chapter 181. A Martial Fanatic with Honors. Chapter 181. A Martial Fanatic with Honors. What? Li Jingtian and Vicious Pill King were shocked silly Regent Estate was the head of the 7 houses and fulfilled Li Jingtian's however pricey terms. But was there anyone else in the whole empire who could simply double it? Even the imperial family would find it hard to meet twice what Regent Estate offered, but thinking over Zhuofan's skill and the titanic and secret clan behind him, Vicious Pill King started grinning. Since Zhuofan boasted the Luo clan as the best in Tanyu, then it had to be above the 7 houses. Even equal to the imperial family. Vicious Pill King stuck out his head and laughed. "Elderly, our steward Zhuo's words are gold." Li Jingtian's eyes flashed, thinking how deceitful Zhuofan was. Of course, he didn't believe a word. But the moment Yen Song laid eyes on him, he bolted like a mouse, yet was now puffing up his chest. This led him to believe Zhuofan had stronger and very much real backing for him to speak such words. How was he supposed to know Yen Song's courage was born out of delusions? A more apt description would be Zhuofan painted him a pretty picture, and Yen Song's mind embellished, since the strong, Vicious Pill King believed it. It conveyed enough confidence for Li Jingtian to maybe trust it, as well muttering something. Li Jingtian snorted. "Humph, you little pup, you think too highly of yourself. If you think you can buy me over, you have another thing coming. Do you have any idea how I met Regent Estate, how I became their venerable, and what they gave me?" Vicious Pill King's heart was wound tight. Is Mad Dipper unbuyable? Zhuofan grinned, hiding the sneer in his heart. "Oh, you big schmuck. I didn't know who you were before, but now I'm perfectly clear. You wouldn't be flouncing around if you were such a Regent Estate diehard. You'd be ending us with impunity and taking our corpses back. Ain't it obvious you're bitching to ask for a bigger pay? I've played this game myself 1,000,000 times. Squinting, Zhuo Fan smiled. My knowledge is shallow. Having not heard of Elder Li's glorious pursuits, I ask that you enlighten me. Ha ha ha, I knew you were wet behind your ears. That's why you spouted those egotistical words about buying me. Although I can't blame you, since I haven't gone out much for you to hear of me. Nodding with pride, thinking things were going his way, Li Jingtian turned to Vicious Pill King. However, if I were to retell old stories of myself, all you'd be hearing is bragging. Yen Song, you tell him. Shivering, Vicious Pill King bobbed his head. Right away. Despite the apprehension he felt, Vicious Pill King glanced at Li Jingtian, then spoke with the utmost gravity. Steward Zhua, elderly as a man that shook the empire. You'd be hard-pressed to find another grand figure such as him in the whole of Tianyu Empire. Elderly started as a rogue, cultivator, no match to any of the 7 houses' experts. However, his mind was staunch, his heart set on giving his all in training his arts. Since he had no cultivation method, he stole it from other clans. He began with a mortal-ranked cultivation method, slowly working his way to a spirit-ranked cultivation method, then a profound ranked cultivation method. The exploits of Elderly are found in every history book. Oh, so Elder Yin means Elderly is a thief? Zhuo Fan interrupted as he scratched his nose, panicked. Vicious Pill King gesticulated wildly in his stammering. I never said such a thing. Mind your words. Li Jingtian bellowed and slapped him. Looking somewhat awkwardly at Zhuo Fan, he was hoping Vicious Pill King would make a proper account of his heroic deeds, racking up his value. But this old coot went and spilled the whole beans about his inglorious past. All robbing would do was drop his price. Instead, Li Jingtian glared at Yen Song, then coughed. Ha ha ha, that is an old story, a part unworthy of attention. How can it be? Without a cultivation method, your only choice was to steal, if you didn't want to stay weak all your life. I truly admire your courage. Zhuo Fan smiled. Li Jingtian's eyes shined and his heart jumped in joy, since Zhuo Fan didn't despise him. He laughed even harder. Your reputation doesn't do you justice, Demon Archon Zhuo Fan. You aren't like those so-called experts, but a man of true talent. Correct. In my younger days, I had to go steal renowned skills and cultivation methods from clans to become what I am now. And the more I stole, the more enemies I gained. But I showed no fear. After cultivating, I became stronger than any of them and killed any who chased me down. I always fought them with the same skills I stole, promising to hand my head over if I ever lost. Zhuo Fan looked at him deeply. Isn't that the same as what I've been through in the 100-pill meeting? Zhuo Fan's opinion of him grew somewhat. He was a renowned man to steal others' belongings and achieve greatness, just like Zhuo Fan. None of them were saints, just looking at things from a different angle. Then people started calling Elderly as the Mad Dipper. It means to say how arrogant I am, yet so powerful none of them could do anything to me. Vicious Pill King put his 2 cents in. Li Jingtian nodded. So I robbed and cultivated my way to the profound heaven stage, unmatched by all. But at that point, I have reached a choke point. Yeah, spirit-ranked cultivation methods are too slow in the profound heaven stage and had to be exchanged. And the only ones with such cultivation methods are the imperial family and 7 houses, or the 4 pillars. Is this how you leaned on Regent Estate? Zhuo Fan said. Li Jingtian shook his head. Holding his head up high, Vicious Pill King butted in. Steward Zhuo, you may not know, but Elderly didn't lean on Regent Estate but fought his way in. Elderly heard of Regent Estate's imperial tyrant body, art being the best of all the houses, and wanted to take it. 5 elders had to work together, but even they, with their imperial tyrant body art, couldn't defeat Elderly spirit ranked body cultivation method. Even Regent Estate's Grand Elder, Huangpu Fenglei, had to intervene. Thus, he invited him into his house as a guest elder, now venerable. This was one of the rare events in the history of Regent Estate. Vicious Pill King turned his admiration-filled eyes to Li Jingtian. Li Jingtian's head rose even higher, as if that was possible, as he stroked his ego in just the right spots, as if to say, "Look, I didn't go there begging. It was Regent Estate who invited me." But Zhui Fan saw through everything and snorted inside. This so-called invitation was after he became a sensation. Regent Estate is fraught with danger. No matter how tough you are, a profound heaven expert would soon be lying dead somewhere before he could make any kind of scene. It's obvious he used his own strength to recommend how fitting he was for Regent Estate. If I went in, my conceived version of Imperial Tyrant body art would have grown far stronger than theirs, thus boosting the power of Regent Estate. Nonetheless, a body cultivator who has always been engrossed in his training yet still had the time to develop such cunningness is a rarity. It had to be all that chasing's fault. Li Jingtian looked more pleasing in Zhuo Fan's eyes. This radiant stage guy has brawn and brain. He is a good specimen. Scratching his nose, Zhuo Fan smiled. In other words, Elderly is a martial fanatic, doing anything and everything in your pursuit of power. You only have one life. If you don't fight your way to rise above the masses, it's not worth living for. Li Jingtian looked at the skies and sighed. Zhuo Fan spoke. Now I know what Elderly wants. Hold on, I don't want you to see me as... I have my own cultivation method. Zhuo Fan cut him off. What I am unclear, however, is why Elderly, a Regent Estate's guest venerable, and knowing the Imperial Tyrant body art, would come after my cultivation method. Kid, I am not actually. Do be frank with me. Shooting him a glance, Zhuo Fan was completely defiant. If Elderly isn't honest, you will never get what you want from me, since I don't know what you really want. Stammering, Li Jingtian looked squarely at Zhuo Fan with admiration. He is no common kid. Few are those who can meet the gaze of a radiant stage expert. No wonder Lung wanted me to personally deal with him. Li Jingtian sighed and nodded. Indeed, I came today for a cultivation method. Humph! I am Regent Estate's guest venerable. Yet they only imparted the Imperial Tyrant body art up to the 7th stage, omitting the last 2. Yet those weaker than me get to practice it without worry. Ridiculous! If I had trained to the 9th stage, I'd be invincible. Not even the Imperial family's divine dragons can compare. Just why have they not given me the last stages? Li Jingtian let go of all his rancor, to which the two looked at each other and shook their heads in mockery. This guy really was a martial fanatic, godlike even. Could Regent Estate rein him in if he became invincible? Humph, he had always been an outsider. I wouldn't impart it either if I couldn't control you. Zhuo Fan said so, yet the outline of a plan was forming in his mind. This man could be taken into the fold, though he needed to fine-tune his rash behavior and get him to fall in line. Chapter 182, Duping a Radiant Stage Expert. Chapter 182, Duping a Radiant Stage Expert. Kid, I have been completely open with you. Now, it's your turn to tell me that body cultivation method of yours. He wanted to still pose as a senior, but Zhui Fan's bluntness was hard to cope with. He thus reverted to his mad dipper, robber self scratching his nose. Zhui Fan was just as calm as he smiled. Elderly, how do you know my cultivation method is better than Imperial Tyrant body art? Humph! Anyone can tell after the stunt you pulled in Drifting Flower City. Li Jingtian huffed. Huangpu Qingyan just entered the 7th stage of Imperial Tyrant body art yet. Could only take 1 bursting pill. And then there's you, taking 5 of them and killing him outright. Even a blind could see whose is better. Zhuo Fan and Vicious Pill King shared a look and nodded. Not everyone was stupid, able to tell which was which yet. Zhuo Fan still chose to shake his head. Elderly, you are a renowned senior, most clear on the power the Imperial Tyrant body art holds. Think it through. Just how many cultivation methods are there that can surpass it? Li Jingtan was at a loss, ha ha ha, elderly, as you know the full recount of what happened in Drifting Flowers edifice. Then you must also know what my other title is. Eminent Alchemist Zhuo Fan. Li Jingtian was stunned, you mean? Zhuo Fan nodded with a crafty smile. I managed to display such power with my body because of my cultivation method, yes, but also thanks to the pills personally refined. Just one was enough to boost my power 5 times. What is that possible? Body cultivators were stronger than average because of their tough bodies, and the only way to obtain it was through arduous training. No exceptions, but if there was a pill that could do the same thing, where'd the body cultivator's advantage go? Does the world have such a miraculous pill? Li Jingtian was skeptical, but Zhuo Fan's logic held some truth. How else could Zhuo Fan, with his bone-tempering stage cultivation, stand up to Huangpu Qingyan? Li Jingtian was clearly hesitating, but then he said coldly, Kid, give me the pills or I'll waste you. Can't, I ate them all. How else could I have finished off Huangpu Qingyan? Then you better make some. Aren't you an alchemist? Out of ingredients. Then I will stay with you until you get them. Li Jingtian was shouting now, raising an eyebrow. Zhuo Fan caught Vicious Pill King, showing off a peculiar smile, one that Li Jingtian clearly spotted. In that case, I need the blood of a red-tail ice fox, a 3rd-level beast. Let's go to All Beast Mountain Range. Zhuo Fan proposed. Li Jingtian waved him off with a smile. Hold on. Why should we go that far? There's plenty of 3rd-level spiritual beasts in a nearby forest. They aren't as many in All Beast Mountain Range, but should be enough for refining. Frowning, Zhuo Fan had no choice but to sigh and nod. Very well. Let's go. Turning around, he gave Vicious Pill King a look. Vicious Pill King didn't seem to have caught it, but Li Jingtian was on guard to pick up this particular strange behavior. He pulled Zhuo around by the shoulder and squinted. Kid, a 3rd-level spiritual beast doesn't need all 3 of us. Let Yen Song get it while we wait. Ha ha ha. I am an alchemist, and pay close attention to the details when picking any ingredient. How could I let Elder Yen go? Zhuo Fan wiped his brow of sweat. Li Jingtian snorted inside. He didn't know what Zhuo Fan's game was, but rumors about his cunning and treachery floated everywhere. It's best to be on the safe side. How many's blood ended up in this kid's hands just because they looked down on him? Li Jingtian was a veteran and saw through everything. He laughed. Ha, kid, cut the act. I said he will go alone, and that's final. He is also an alchemist and knows what spiritual beast to pick. Gnashing his teeth, Zhuo Fan furrowed his brows, but sighed in the end and took out a gourd from his ring. Elder Yen, here are the favorite worms of the red-tail ice fox. Bait it with this and catch it quickly. Yen Song's eyes lit up, catching his meaning, and nodded. Wait. Li Jingtian felt something was off. What is this? Let me see. Yen Song hesitated, but Zhuo Fan nodded. Li Jingtian took the ice-cold gourd and opened it. A blood-colored worm wiggled its way out. Li Jingtian looked at it with a critical eye, but found nothing unusual. He gave it back to Vicious Pill King. This fox eats worms. Ha ha ha. Who else but us alchemists know the habits of every spiritual beast? Zhuo Fan laughed. When Li Jingtian found Vicious Pill King had gone 10 meters away, he shouted, Yen Song, you have 1 day to bring a 3rd-level spiritual beast. Be late, and we won't wait for you. Yen Song staggered in his flight, looking back at Zhuo Fan, and nodded. Zhuo Fan sneered inside. Li Jingtian was quite cautious, leaving no stone unturned. Even though he let Yen Song go, he gave him a deadline now. It wouldn't matter, even if he got help, since these 2 would be long gone. Humph. Getting hounded in his younger days worked wonders for his prudence, it seems. But despite all this caution, it only sends him deeper into my trap. Zhuo Fan grinned around 12 hours later. Vicious Pill King carried a snow-white fox's body. Its tail was a vibrant red. Vicious Pill King placed the body down and returned the gourd to Zhuo Fan with a slight nod. Zhuo Fan smiled. Now we can refine. Wait. Li Jingtian again butted in, his eyes flashing eerily. A flick of his finger cut the fox in two. Li Jingtian stooped and squeezed the parts until a red worm came out. Now you can begin. Li Jingtian squashed the worm to a paste. Vicious Pill King was startled, yet found Zhuo Fan calm as a well. So now I will refine a body pill for Elder Yen to prove my words. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath and used his Yuan Qi flame, but Li Jingtian barked, wait. I want 10. The more you have, the better. But you can only take it once in your life. Taking any more would be useless. Zhuo Fan furrowed his brows, laughing. Li Jingtian's eyes were sharp. If I say you make 10, then that's what you'll do. Unless you two don't want your heads on your shoulders. For lack of a better option, Zhuo Fan started refining. When the pills were just about done, he added the ice fox's blood with a hum. 10 pills radiating cool air and colored red flew into Zhuo Fan's palm. Li Jingtian cried in shock. Why are they so cold, yet came out of a Yuan Qi fire? Elderly may not know that this third-grade pill, freezing body pill, is a clan secret. Refined with the yin-yang flame, it is hot inside and cold on the surface. Once ingested, hot and cold will travel through the body hundreds of times, tempering it. Zhuo Fan, explained. Li Jingtian reached over. Give me 1. Zhuo Fan nodded, acquiescing his demand. Wait. Li Jingtian had a sly smile. Give me the other 9. Zhuo Fan frowned, but complied. Li Jingtian then pointed at the one Zhuo Fan was holding and said with a cold smile, Kid, eat it. I told you this pill only works once. Zhuo Fan frowned. Laughing, Li Jingtian's eyes bore into him. I know, of course, but it won't matter if you take 1 more. If you don't eat it, that this pill must have a defect and I will kill you. Zhuo Fan ate it in the end. Seeing him fine, Li Jingtian's eyes roamed around in thought. Kid, pick 1 from these 9. Zhuo Fan sighed and took 1. Give it to me. Li Jingtian said. Zhuo Fan complied. Yet Li Jingtian shouted again just before he ate it. Hold on. You eat it, Yen Song. Me? Yen Song stammered, but was forced to eat it either way in this way. Li Jingtian made Zhuo Fan pick again and again, until only 3 were left. He picked 1 himself, then checked the 2's faces before eating it. Li Jingtian felt a chill seep into him, then a warmth. It was so gentle and cozy. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow, then snickered. This guy is paranoid, but he took the bait anyway. Chapter 183. Another one comes aboard. Chapter 183. Another one comes aboard. Li Jingtian entered meditation and focused on refining the pill. Zhuo Fan and Vicious Pill King were actually just standing there looking at him. 6 hours later, Li Jingtian stood up. Zhuo Fan smiled. How is it, elderly? Happy? Yes, my body feels so free. Li Jingtian let a carefree laugh, but then was cut short as he frowned. However, why is it that my body hasn't grown in power? Grinning, Zhuo Fan said, That's normal since it was not a body pill by any means. It'd be odd if you did get stronger. What, you lied? Li Jingtian's rage exploded. Vicious Pill King hunkered for cover behind Zhuo, but the latter was still carefree. Oh, my elderly, you are a veteran and a man with widened horizons. How come you bought into this fairy tale about body pills? Don't you know cultivators walk in defiance to heavens? The greater the price, the bigger the reward. Relying on pills will only ruin you in the long run. You played me for a fool. Li Jingtian's eyes were red. Now Vicious Pill King shivered as he shook Zhuo Fan's arm. He tried to make him stop aggravating this old monster. Zhuo Fan, however, flicked his hand free and laughed. And what are you going to do about it? You think I'm as dumb as those morons you robbed? Thinking you can just take my cultivation method? Fat chance. Why, you little. Li Jingtian was panting in rage, pointing at Zhuo Fan while the great mad dipper Li Jingtian was somebody, even in his early days, that the 7 houses would show some respect. But then he met this young pup who started cursing him. The shame was unbearable, no matter if he got the cultivation method or not. Zhuo Fan had to die, Li Jingtian bellowed and slapped the two. The wave of power coming from him almost blew the two away. Kid, your life ends here. Vicious Pill King shivered behind Zhuo Fan in fear. Steward Zhuo, you tricked him, but your bloodworm's plan fell through. So why are you making it worse? You looked so wise with your poise and calmness, but why are you hot-headed today? Vicious Pill King cried as he wailed inside. Who could have seen this coming? He just got a new lease on life, only to die again a month later. Is this the end of my poor life? In the middle of his lamentation and prayers, Zhuo Fan snorted and made a sign. Ah! A shriek of pain shuddered the heavens itself. A bloody mark appeared on Li Jingtian's forehead that forced his palm to a stop but a hair's breadth away from Zhuo Fan. He then proceeded to hold his head as he collapsed in agony. Blood flowed from his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, dyeing the ground red. His eyes bulged out and were ready to pop. The whale-head Vicious Pill King, looking stumped. Looking back at Zhuo Fan, he noticed the trademark wicked grin on his face. Steward Zhuo, did it work? Vicious Pill King blinked. Zhuo Fan nodded. But of course, this coot is under my complete control. Elder Yen, you did well today. I will remember this. Great, ha ha ha. Vicious Pill King's spirits were uplifted. He looked to Li Jingtian with a proud gaze. You finally got yours. Who told you to play around? Don't you know any ploy before Zhuo Fan is paid back many folds? Vicious Pill King felt it on his own skin, but seeing the Mad Dipper of Tianyu's act crushed and shamed made him chipper. His admiration for Zhuo Fan grew as well, of course. He even managed to bring a radiant stage cultivator to his knees. This boy is too much. What's happening to me? Li Jingtian held his head as he rolled on the ground. What the hell did you do to me? Zhuo Fan and Vicious Pill King snickered in sync, taking the remaining 2 pills. Zhuo Fan said, Elderly, I'm sure you know by now. I mean, didn't a veteran cultivator like you ever heard the saying, don't take candy from a stranger? The pill. Li Jingtian's eyes widened. Impossible. Even if a 3rd-grade pill had poison, my yuan qi is more than enough to remove it. And didn't you take it too? Zhuo Fan snickered. We did indeed. Terribly sorry, however, this pill is completely safe. It has no poison, though it does refresh one's body. What is wreaking havoc in your body is this little buddy. Zhuo Fan presented the gourd, and a bloodworm came out. Li Jingtian had known something was off about it, but never thought it could be so deadly and make him stand on the edge of a precipice. This is my demonic creature, bloodworm. It takes control of your blood. I am linked with it, and a thought from me is enough to plunge you into a world of pain. It works just the same even on a radiant stage expert like you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Li Jingtian was shocked and roamed his eyes around, all while he expressed his doubt. That can't be. I scanned every ingredient you used, even the dead fox, and there was nothing wrong with any of them. The bloodworm was killed by me at the start. You're saying the worm didn't die when being refined? Vicious Pill King was also curious about this. This was the reason for his disappointment earlier. He just didn't know how Zhuo Fan pulled off getting this old guy to swallow a bloodworm. Ha ha ha, I know this as well. Why else would I propose the red-tailed ice fox? Chuckling, Zhuo Fan's eyes shined with wisdom. My bloodworm lives in frigid pools, and the ice fox's main property is its icy blood. So, I had Elder Yen feed it a bloodworm, but not to include it in the pill later. It was all so it would lay its eggs. You might have killed the bloodworm, but the icy blood was filled with eggs. Now I get it. Under a radiant stage expert scrutiny, they'll notice any hint of life in seconds. But an egg isn't alive until it hatches. This made Li Jingtian's search useless. Vicious Pill King exclaimed, while also giving Zhuo Fan a good round of ass-kissing. Steward Zhuo is a sage to cover all aspects. Not even the veteran Li Jingtian could match your perfect schemes. I am in awe. That's not right. How did you make the bloodworm grow so fast from a mere egg? Li Jingtian was still in denial with a light smile. Zhuo Fan supplied the explanation on a casual note. You have the potency of the pill to thank for that. As I've said, I used both yin and yang fires in the refining. If I did not do so, the yang fire would have ruined the egg in the blood. The rest is as you already understand, or more aptly put, felt on your own skin. The pill freely switches from yin to yang, sometimes the warmth of spring, and sometimes the chill of a winter blizzard. It imitates the 4 seasons, though it may have been 6 hours, but to the bloodworm it was equivalent to decades, not to mention. This pill speeds up your pulse, all to help the little bloodworm grow. The pill was no body pill, but one that facilitates the flow of blood, the spring pill. The explanation floored Li Jingtian completely. Never had he thought this day would come. He moved unchecked across the empire, only to fall in the hands of a twerp. He could only laugh at himself for being greedy. It was this that brought him to his knees, but Zhuo Fan saw through him once again. Ha ha ha, you must be thinking greed got you into this mess, no? Wrong. Humans are inherently greedy. Take away your desire, and would you still be human? Desire is fine, but you must never ever try to take any shortcuts. There's no such thing as a miracle pill to make you strong. And even if there is, the price you'd have to pay for it would be so much greater. Zhuo Fan then placed a jade slip at his feet, stopping the bloodworm's torment as he continued preaching. Like I said, I have my own cultivation method. It is called Wraith Art, a mid-profound, ranked, demonic method of astonishing power. Train it to completion, and it won't lack one bit to a top one. It is without a doubt stronger than even the Imperial Tyrant Body Art. At the same time, I will also give you 3 matching, profound, ranked martial arts. If you are willing to bend a knee and join me and the Luo clan, pick it up and become its elder. Or you can just leave, return to Regent Estate as a guest venerable. I won't stop you. Looking Zhuo Fan straight in the eye, Li Jingtian could pick up on his sincerity. He slowly reached for the jade slip as he muttered, I first want to see if it is real and not, and if it is incomplete like what Regent Estate had passed to me. Zhuo Fan smiled and nodded. When Li Jingtian caught a glimpse of it, his eyes widened. Bloody hell! There's a sound, profound, ranked martial art in here. This doesn't exist anywhere in the Empire. What kind of a behemoth is this Luo clan to have such a treasure? Your decision. Zhuo Fan smiled. I'm in. Who the hell wouldn't at this point? Li Jingtian put the jade slip in his ring and laughed. Kid, I'd come over to your side much earlier if you had just shown me this cultivation method. What need was there for all that cloak and dagger spiel? You don't say. Knowing what he was thinking once again, Zhuo Fan smiled coldly. Wouldn't you have killed me instead, to silence me and take my head for a reward? Li Jingtian scratched his head awkwardly from having his heart laid bare. Zhuo Fan is just as the rumors say. Nothing escapes him. No wonder he can act so calmly after killing 6 experts. With such a talent, the clan must be of even more epic proportions. I didn't lose out following him. Li Jingtian laughed and sighed. He may have been forced to switch camps, but you could say he traded up. As such, another poor and disillusioned expert climbed aboard Zhuo Fan, didn't mind at all. Isn't it a good thing if they trust the Luo clan? Although they may perhaps experience a somewhat mild letdown when they see it. Zhuo Fan felt somewhat bashful at that last thought. Chapter 184, 7 Houses Gathering. Chapter 184, 7 Houses Gathering. The caged dragon city leaned onto the endless miles long bulwark range. For towering peaks, jetting cliff edges, and cloud-wreathed hunks of rocks had the city surrounded. Seen from above, the 4 looked like spikes nailing down a proud dragon, dooming it for all eternity, and this city here was where the head of the 7 houses, the Regent Estate, laid its roots. An old man in his 50s, with sunken cheeks and pale as paper, was now standing before the looming city gate. His hair was in a bun, just like a scholar's, evoking a refined and courteous air. But the bloodthirst in his eyes ruined this image. 2 profound heaven experts flanked him. Yet their attitude was quite deferred toward the old man, with a hint of fear mixed within whoosh. Suddenly, 3 lights flashed before them. They were none other than Veiled Dragon Pavilion's pavilion lord, Long Yifei, third elder, and Long Ju. You honor me, Pavilion Lord Long, with your arrival. Do forgive me for coming so late to welcome you. The scholar half bowed to Long Yifei, yet there was no trace of courteousness on his face. Long Yifei returned the greeting with haste and respect. It is of no importance. How could I possibly demand Sir Lung come in person? You have given me a world of respect just by waiting for me. Ha ha ha, Pavilion Lord Long is courteous. It is only proper I do so, as the steward of Regent Estate. Sir Lung cupped his hands, and his lips curled into a wide smile. Long Yifei nodded, but felt his heart in a vice around a man they called unwanted contriver Lung Wuchang. One had to be mindful of his every little gesture at all times, lest they reveal something they wouldn't want about themselves, lest they would unwittingly allow him to pry into Veiled Dragon Pavilion's secrets. Even the other 6 house lords treated meeting Sir Lung with more gravity than seeing the Emperor whoosh. 3 more figures arrived just then. Looking over, they were Hell Valley's Valley Lord, Yuan Shan, along with his Grand Elder and one-armed 5th Elder. Perhaps the rage and humiliation still held him in their grip, for his features were tightened and morose after exchanging greetings with Lung Wuchang, and some short pleasantries. Lung Wuchang flicked his cold eyes on Long Yifei. Humph, Pavilion Lord Long. Enemies always seem to bump into each other. This is the 2nd time we meet since our audience with the Emperor. Ha ha ha, quite so. Life is fickle like that. It seems, however, after we parted from the imperial capital, Veiled Dragon Pavilion stayed the same. Yet, I find it that not to be the case for Hell Valley. Long Yifei chuckled, the sarcasm clear in his eyes, as well. This open jab at Hell Valley was an obvious mockery to them losing 2 great generals. First, the demise of Yu Giki, and second, the crippling of 5th Elder. Diamondback Ape Hell Valley's losses were tremendous, falling dreadfully short in power compared to Veiled Dragon Pavilion. Yuan Shan's face contorted in rage and stomped forward, his power threatening to break out as he spat. Long Yifei, come and see for yourself if Hell Valley is still the same or not. Humph, you think the likes of you scare me. Snorting, Long Yifei's eyes were sharp, letting his power ooze out. The 2 peak profound heaven experts' auras clashed, putting pressure on the 2 profound heaven experts belonging to Regent Estate into retreating, even though Regent Estate was crowned as the strongest house. Long Yifei and Yuan Shan were not to be taken lightly. Either few present could push back these 2 elders. Even in the Regent Estate, the 2 sides bared their fangs, needing one last push to blow everything up in smoke. Lung Wuchang coughed. Gentlemen, please, this is Regent Estate. Those simple words were as if spoken by a god. As it shook the hearts of the 2 and their aura vanishing, they proceeded to instantly bow in apology. Please show leniency, Sir Lung. It's fine. Just remember that we are in Regent Estate and you are our guests. You will make it difficult for me if you start fighting here. Please take it elsewhere if you want to sort your differences. That's all I'm asking. Lung Wuchang's face was as blank as ever, but the words were chilling to the bone. His eyes even contained a hint of reprimand when looking at them. Despite the anger welling in the 2, they could only let it simmer. He had the monster that was Regent Estate behind him. Someone none of the 6 houses wanted to make an enemy of. Ha ha ha. This place sure is lively. Valley Lord you, Pavilion Lord Long, it's been ages. A laughter broke out, followed by 3 towering figures in green. Their leader was a wizened old man with silver-haired, while the other 2 were his elders. One was red-haired and the other violet. Yet each one of them had an eerie hint of green in their eyes. Hall, Lord Yen Bogong? Squinting, Yuan Shan mocked them. You seem to be quite springy for someone who had his best alchemist slaughtered in cold blood. Ha ha ha. Valley Lord you, there's no need to provoke me. Yen Bogong smiled. Pilking Hall is different from you. You always go on a murder spree every day. with every one of your elders a mighty general. My condolences for the loss, by the way. While we at the Peking Hall pursue alchemy above all else, only the best alchemist is worthy of the vicious Peking title. Even if we were robbed of our precious alchemist, we still have many more that can fit the role as well, just as we have many seventh-grade alchemists like Yen Song. Since they have always been in his shadow for so long, they must be letting it all out in laughter now. In short, we do not lack alchemists. Our next vicious Peking will achieve just as his predecessor had, taking the title of the best alchemist in Tianyu. Yen Bagong stood proud before the two, while Yuan Shan cursed silently. A cold and cruel hell is a more fitting place for you. Long Yafei snorted. Hall Lord Yen seems to be quite confident. I heard that in the 100-pill meeting held by Drifting Flowers Edifice, before vicious Pill King's untimely demise, he fell utterly short to the more skilled Zhuo Fan. Do tell, how is the best alchemist in Tianyu one of yours now, I certainly don't see it. For the first time since he came, Yen Bogong's face took a darker tone, his eyes flashing with bloodthirst. Humph, and if Zhuo Fan dies? The dead can't compete with Peking Hall in taking the best alchemist title. What, Zhuo Fan? Where is that devil? A sudden bark rang everyone's ears. It followed with the arrival of 3 figures in blue. A middle-aged man with delicate features walked to Lung Wuchang. Sir Lung, hasn't Zhuo Fan been dealt with yet? Lung Wuchang frowned. Mary Woods was the dumbest ally no one would ever want. Could you speak any louder? I don't think everyone heard you clearly. Too little too late. Long Yafei could already guess as his eyes glanced at the 2 Lung Wuchang coughed. House Lord Lin, please mind yourself. We are all here to strategize on how to rid the world of that devil. Oh, Lin Rufeng, why do I get the feeling you already began to act? Lin Rufeng's eyes searched for a clue. A tick. Anything. Lin Rufeng nodded without a care. Damn right. That punk killed our 6th elder. How can we not retaliate? This time, we sent 2 profound heaven experts. House, Lord Lin, Zhuo Fan is most cunning. It is not appropriate for Mary Woods to act alone. Let us all work together on this after the 7 houses gathering. Lung Wuchang intervened before Lin Rufeng's loose tongue could do even more damage. Lin Rufeng was startled. What do you mean alone? Weren't you in it as well? But Lung Wuchang's deadly glare shut him up before he could open his beak, however. Long Yafei could already guess what happened. Regent Estate has been on the move even before the 7 houses gathering, and they excluded Veiled Dragon Pavilion, it seems. It was a clear indication that Regent Estate crossed Veiled Dragon Pavilion from their ally list. This spells trouble. If the Regent Estate goal is to rule all 7 houses, they are sure to make an example out of Veiled Dragon Pavilion by eliminating us. Long Yafei secretly sighed. I can only pray for Zhuo Fan's safety, that he will assist us once he rises to power. You must stay alive at all costs. Ha ha ha, it's been a long time since it's been so bustling here. It must have been, what, a century since our last gathering? A sudden chuckle followed, a scholarly middle-aged man with a long beard joining them with 2 elders behind. And one of them was Sword Marquis Abode's 8th elder. Jian Suifeng, and Long Zhou's eyes met, and they nodded at each other. In Drifting Flower City, Zhuo Fan pulled the strings in getting Sword Marquis Abode and Veiled Dragon Pavilion secretly more acquainted. Long Yafei's eyes shined at the newcomer, finally meeting an ally, and laughed. Ha ha ha. Abode Lord Sky Breaking Xiaofeng, we meet at last. Pavilion Lord Soaring Dragon Long Yafei, I've been looking forward to seeing you as well. Xiaofeng cupped his hands, laughing together for a reason only they knew. These 2 were house lords yet. They have never once met before, but since they were allies now, they saw each other in a better light. Lung Wuchang's brows trembled. The 7 houses are almost all here, but in light of Drifting Flowers Edifice's unfortunate disaster that demon caused, I believe they have their hands tied and can't join us. Let us. who said drifting flowers' edifice's hands are tied. A clear and powerful voice cut Lung Wuchang's speech short. Then a bang echoed as a golden staff with a dragon head smashed the ground. The sight of her caused the others to widen their eyes. Even Lung Wuchang, the old hag, still lives. Chapter 185 Demon Purging Decree. Chapter 185 Demon Purging Decree. A curvaceous woman in her 40s, free from the scars of time, walked with dignity and lofty air at every step. The dragon head golden staff smashed the pavement. Oddly enough, it was at that instant the other people's hearts jumped as well. She was the legend that had kept Drifting Flowers' edifice afloat a century ago with her own 2 hands. The one they called grandmother, Chu Bijuan. Long Yaifi and Xia Xiaofeng had heard of her recovery from Long Jiu and Jian Suifeng. But seeing her in person was a whole other matter entirely. Each of them watched dumbstruck as if they saw a ghost. One could hardly blame them. Behind grandmother were Iris Overseer and Peony Overseer. They stood proud and head held high, finally able to blow off their long pentade steam. I am possible. You should be dead. Hall Lord Yen stammered, snorting. Chu Bijuan flicked him a look and spat. Yen Bagong, you'd wish it so. But to your disappointment, I am still alive and well. I may soon even enter the radiant stage. Humph. Your deep consideration for Drifting Flowers' edifice over the years have been noted. I will make sure to repay each and every transgression. Shivering inside, Yen Bagong sank into a depression. Chu Bijuan's title of Lady of Steel was for her staunch determination in following through on her promise. The future of Pilking Hall looked quite bleak. Congratulations on your recovery, Edifice Lord Chu, and resuming your lead. Lung Wuchang gradually cooled and cupped his hands to Chu Bijuan. She returned the gestures with a light bow. Please, Sir Lung, you're too kind. The edifice lord has always been Qingqing, but she had to enter seclusion while this gathering is taking place. So I took it upon myself to assist her by coming here in her stead. Edifice Lord Chu is modest. Everyone knows you are the first overseer. However, you are no different than an edifice lord, thus your title. With you leading, Drifting Flowers' edifice will bound to rise. Smiling, Lung Wuchang continued, You have my utmost admiration for advising 3 generations of edifice lords and for your open-minded nature. Chu Bijuan nodded in her show of respect. Lung Wuchang smiled. Would it be too much to ask that in this 7 houses gathering, Edifice Lord Chu put aside our differences? Ha ha ha, of course, Sir Lung. Only, I'm not so sure everyone else would be as quick to agree as me. Chu Bijuan sneaked a glance at Yen Bagong. Yen Bagong gnashed his teeth. Since Sir Lung asked, I shall accommodate your request while in Regent Estate. Ha ha ha, wonderful. Laughing, Lung Wuchang's eyes roamed over the crowd and gestured with a flourish. Guests, please follow me. Estate Lord is waiting. He took the lead, the rest followed after him, while Yen Bagong snorted at Chu Bijuan. Chu Bijuan only smiled coldly. Leaving with her overseers when passing by Veiled Dragon Pavilion and Sword Marquis' abode, they exchanged glances, and the 3 broke out in smiles. This was done in such a casual manner that no one noticed. These 3 houses were in fact allies. The 6 houses' delegates entered in a lofty and grand hall. The arrangements were full of taste and refinement, yet there were only 7 seats. It was obviously reserved for the house lords, while their detail made to stand. This earned no little dissent among the elder. They were revered in their own houses, and even their house lord showed them proper respect, while here they seemed to be treated like air, turning a blind eye. Lung Wuchang gestured. Please take your seats while I ask Estate Lord to join you. And he left Yen Bagong. Yuan Shan and Lin Rafeng looked at each other before taking their seats. Chu Bijuan squinted and took a seat, as well the elders were, however, made to stand at their side. Long Yaifi and Xia Xiaofeng exchanged a glance, then looked at their elders, undecided to the best course of action. A house leader should fight for the respect of his elders. The best way was to ask Regent Estate for more seats. The elders were the pillars of the house, not mere servants to watch their house lord eat while standing aside, but the seating was so strange that left the two at a loss while they were debating inside. A stout man in golden ceremonial robes dazzled in with Lung, Wuchang behind him. He was the estate lord, Huangpu Tianyuan. The people stood and offered their respects. Huangpu Tianyuan returned their gesture and sat in the seat of honor. Only then did the others sit as well. Lung Wuchang chose to stand behind Huangpu Tianyuan. Without a hint of complaint, Huangpu Tianyuan took everyone's presence into account, and even though Lung Wuchang warned him, he was shocked to see Chu Bijuan here just the same. Edifice Lord Chu, I am relieved to see you in good health. Chu Bijuan nodded. I am most grateful for Estate Lord's kind thoughts. Drifting Flowers Edifice and Regent Estate have always been close. Chu Bijuan recovery is a happy event for us, Regent Estate. Huangpu Tianyuan smiled and patted her snow-white hand. Chu Bijuan withdrew and flustered, and with reddened cheeks, "Goddamn hypocrite!" Iris Overseer and Peony Overseer cursed him secretly. If not for grandmother's early warning, they'd be blowing a gasket right about now. Huangpu Tianyuan turned to Long Yaifi and Xia Xiaofeng, asking in faux interest, Pavilion Lord Long, Abode Lord Xia, why are you standing? Do you find your seats lacking? I will change them for you. No. Long Yaifi denied, his eyes darting around while replying oddly. Sir Lung is one of the 3 sages in Tianyu. How could I let him stand? I freely offer my own seat to him. Xia Xiaofeng understood his hidden meaning at an important and rare occasion as the 7 houses gathering. How could Regent Estate make such a casual blunder to forget some seats? It was obviously done on purpose. Mentioning it would instantly trigger the trap. As for what that was, no one knew yet. Lung Wuchang took a roundabout approach, hanging the issue over Lung Wuchang's head. Although unable to talk back for Regent Estate's accommodations, the least he could do was counter it ingeniously. Hey, Pavilion Lord Long still knows how to use the old noodle. Xia Xiaofeng joined in as well. AI! How could I let Pavilion Lord Long give a seat? It's best I give my own. Oh, no, take mine. Please, I insist. The two kept going back and forth, hoping to make a mountain out of a molehill. Yet, Huangpu Tianyuan was sitting there without the slightest disturbance. Lung Wuchang snorted secretly. He cupped his hands at the two. Thank you, House Lords, for your generous offers, but we have rules here. I cannot agree. These 7 seats are for House Lords only. A subject like me is unworthy of seating next to Lords. So that's why. Is this Regent's skill in dividing his subjects from the Lords? The two saw the same guess in each other's eye. Lung Wuchang was quite vague, but it hinted at Regent Estate's ambition. He tossed out the subjects and lord excuse to test who was worthy of making ties with Huangpu Tianyuan and who was not, as for who was the lord and the subjects among the 7 houses. It was painfully clear for the sake of dealing with Zhuofan that convened the 7 houses gathering, but it was in fact a cover to threaten the 6 houses into submission. There was no way Regent Estate would breach this subject out of their own initiative. So how could they deal with this? Long Yaifi and Xia Xiaofeng gnashed their teeth, taking seats with anxious hearts. The elders stood behind them with heavy expressions. Regent Estate was planning on using Zhuofan as a scapegoat to unite the houses. Huangpu Tianyuan smiled once everyone was seated. The reason why I've asked you all here today is abundantly clear. As of late, Devil Zhuofan had repeatedly breached the 7 noble houses' honor. Beginning with Hell Valley's 7th elder, it slowly snowballed into the chaos that engulfed Drifting Flowers Edifice and robbing us of 4 elders with his devious ploys. The whole of Tianyu sees us as nothing but buffoons. If we let him continue on this path, the day may very well come when he will purge one house from its roots. He wasn't Drifting Flowers City, the root of Drifting Flowers Edifice? Hall Lord couldn't help but point out his mockery. Chu Bijuan smiled coldly. Indeed, Drifting Flower City has been reduced to shambles. However, That was at the price of taking out the best alchemist in Tanyu. Shouldn't this old bones destroy a few more? Chu Bijuan, mind your goddamn tone. Yen Bagong slapped the table. Chu Bijuan was quite calm as she stood. Humph! Anyone here is more than clear who should mind his. Enough! Huangpu Tianyuan shouted. Fighting among us before our enemy is vanquished will only benefit him. Huangpu Tianyuan ended their quarrel and resumed. For that purpose, I propose, in the name of the 7 houses, the demon purging decree, and put an end to his vile tendencies. What? The others gasped. Even Chu Bijuan and Yen Bagong, they all had their guesses, but hearing it was still a shock. The last time the demon purging decree was issued was 3 centuries ago. Chapter 186, Grandmother's Tactic. Chapter 186, Grandmother's Tactic. Demon Purging Decree was the 7 Houses Act, which held as much power as the emperor's edicts. Yet it was far more cruel even if the emperor was subjected to some offense. His edict would involve the 7 houses, at the most in dealing with the offender. But the Demon Purging Decree rendered a constant kill order on the target, in which the 7 houses would deploy all their assets, including their venerables, in hunting him down. The target would be exterminated with extreme prejudice. It wasn't limited to the target either, as it included the place he visited, be it a village or a city. They were all burned to the ground, driven by fear. Everyone else would start hounding the target as well, until he had nowhere to hide in the whole of Tanyu Empire. In this manner, the target would slowly grow weary, unable to cope, and ultimately perish, as this was a drastic measure. The Demon Purging Decree was issued only if voted unanimously by the 7 house lords. If one house failed to participate, it would be tantamount to betraying the imperial family and being labeled as traitors. Yet Zhuofan only killed people from 4 houses, becoming bitter enemies with them. Even if he had all 7 of them breathing down his neck, it would still not warrant such a cruel and vicious act as the Demon Purging Decree, since this act implied the slaughter of innocents in cold blood 3 centuries ago. The 7 houses would have refrained from using it as well, but that little monster was too hard to deal with. While this time it was used on a mere bone tempering cultivator. Everyone was frowning, sinking into their thoughts. What does everyone think? Huangpu Tianyuan smiled. Yen Bagong, Yuan Shan, and one other nodded. We agree to a state lord's decision. The brat has to be put down at once. Long Yaifi muttered. However, using Demon Purging Decree at this time is overkill. This implies an empire-wide call to arms, and an explanation has to be given to the imperial family. Furthermore, Zhuofan is hardly at the level of that little monster 3 centuries ago. It doesn't make sense to use the Demon Purging Decree for just this. Xie Xiaofeng nodded. Humph! Of course you'd say that, Pavilion Lord Long. At that time, Veiled Dragon Pavilion was willing to take the blame for the kid. You must be practically joined at the hip with that devil by now. Yuan Shan snorted. Long Yaifi roared. Yuan Shan, cease your baseless accusations. When your 2 elders died in Wingay City, we were in the dark too. Would you have believed us if we just told you it wasn't us? We might as well settle this now, so that rumors won't spread saying that Qianlong Pavilion is afraid of you. How is it that now your story has changed into us taking the fall for Zhuofan? You know full well who's taking the blame. Are you to tell me you are that oblivious to what happens in your own backyard? Wingay City is your domain. Ha ha ha. You knew full well that was our domain, yet you sent elders in. They were seeking death. Say that again. Yuan Shan slapped the table and jumped to his feet. Long Yaifi did the same in answer to his challenge. Huangpu Tianyuan snorted in anger, one that shook the entire place. Yuan Shan and Long Yaifi felt their ears ringing and a heavy force pushing down on them. Shock set in as well. Huangpu Tianyuan's power was incredible. Despite all being peak profound heaven stage experts here, they were cut below him. The 2 were reduced to only glaring at each other as they took their seats, eyeing them coldly. Huangpu Tianyuan said, Remember, this is the Regent Estate. The two apologized but were wary nonetheless. Edifice Lord Chu, what is your decision? Huangpu Tianyuan smiled after a brief reflection. Chu Bijuan responded with a smile. I wholly approve of Estate Lord's decision. This devil-ruined Drifting Flowers edifice and has to be put down. Long Yaifi and Xia Xiaofeng watched each other baffled. Hey Grandma, we are allies here. Don't go kicking us to the curb. Huangpu Tianyuan was shocked at her casual response, but then Chu Bijuan showed an expression plagued by worry. Estate Lord, we may issue the demon purging decree, but you have to move like lightning and destroy him. You must know that he has the Bodhi root in his possession. Drifting Flowers, edifice's greatest treasure. If he is pushed into a corner and eats it, it will boost his power and will ruin us. Chu Bijuan's words struck a chord. Huangpu Tianyuan sighed. On second thought, it is best we don't unleash such a calamity as the demon purging decree on the people. And wait, what? Yuan Shan sighed, nodded out of instinct, but soon came to and was flabbergasted. He thought to himself, I say, Estate Lord, didn't you tell us to follow your lead? We even agreed to enact the demon purging decree. Why are you then so whimsical? Are you going back on your words to trick us too? Huangpu Tianyuan treated their looks of doubt as air. Sighing once again in abject sorrow, I only propose the demon purging decree to see if there's any compassion left in your hearts. Us 7 are the peak of Tianyu's power. We have to lead by example, to stand united in upholding peace in Tianyu. If we adhere to the demon purging decree and bring disaster to our people over one kid, for our selfishness no less, wouldn't that be too despicable of us? Long Yaifi and Xia Xiaofeng bobbed their heads. They were clueless as to why Huangpu Tianyuan shifted gear like a teenager, but they agreed in a heartbeat. Yuan Shan's side had their faces twitching, and Huangpu Tianyuan's amiable smile almost had them spurt blood. Curses! Are you playing with us? Did you just use us knowing our motives earlier to paint us the villains while making you the benevolent hero? This Dam Region estate is a den of bastards. Yuan Shan's side glanced at each other. Looking as if they swallowed a fly, they all then started to discuss how to deal with Zhuofan, but came up empty. Huangpu Tianyuan then adjourned the meeting, for the house lords to get some rest when Chu Bijuan left. Huangpu Tianyuan never let her out of his sight. This damn hag is back to her old tricks. When all left, Huangpu Tianyuan spoke, faintly nodding. Lung Wuchang smiled. Yes, hitting us right where it hurts. The hag saw your motive with a glance and threw a wrench in your demon purging decree. From what I've seen, the Drifting Flowers edifice may be the weakest house, but Chu Bijuan isn't easy to deal with. At least, far more troublesome than Long Yaifi and Xia Xiaofeng working together. Indeed, with this hag back, the Drifting Flowers edifice is going to be a hard pill to swallow. Huangpu Tianyuan sighed. Yuan Shan's group suddenly appeared in the hall, already knowing they'd come. Lang Wuchang waved them off with a smile. I know what's on your minds, but please relax. We have no ill will towards any of you. Estate Lord only changed his decision on the spur of the moment. Startled, Yuan Shan's group held Lung Wuchang in even greater admiration. Sir is an outstanding strategist. It is indeed why we came here, yet you could tell with a single look. Please, you're too kind. I only have people's best intentions in mind. Lung Wuchang smiled, but Sir Lung, Estate Lord, how are we to get rid of Zhuofan? Yuan Shan frowned Hell Valley, and Zhuofan's grudges were bone deep. They only cared about seeing Zhuofan dead. Huangpu Tianyuan and Lung Wuchang laughed. Valley Lord, you, a pup has you running scared? Look at you shaking in worry over there. You are bringing disgrace to the 7 houses. Huangpu Tianyuan mocked him. Lung Wuchang's eyes flashed. Valley Lord, you, haven't we already sent a team to intercept him? And if it fails, isn't this the reason for the demon purging decree? This was Yuan Shan and the others' biggest worry. Huangpu Tianyuan rejected. You think a mere bone-tempering kid is worthy of the demon purging decree? The decree is only a means to an end, a convenient excuse. Wan Shan blinked, baffled. Wu Chang looked unperturbed. I may not know much about him, but 3 houses send 2 profound heaven experts after him. The chance of success is over 90%. But just now, it became 100%. Oh, what makes you so sure of success, Sir Lung? Huangpu Tianyuan raised an eyebrow. Even he was curious. Lung Wuchang grinned, because our guest venerable, Lung Wuchang, volunteered as well. He's going too, whatever for. Huangpu Tianyuan was startled. Why else? He must have heard of the kid's exploits in Drifting Flower City and plans on taking Zhui Fan's cultivation method for himself. That martial fanatic knows when to be serious only when these things are involved. Humph, what a fool. He is Regent Estates, guest venerable, with imperial tyrant body art at his disposal. And yet here he is coveting an outsider's cultivation method. Huangpu Tianyuan snorted. Lung Wuchang shook his hand indifferently. It doesn't matter. With Elder Li's character, he'll definitely kill the kid afterward. The brat's fate is sealed. Yu Wanshan's group was overjoyed at the news now that a radiant stage expert set his eyes on Zhuo Fan. He would die for sure no matter how skilled he was, yet to their complete lack of knowledge of the situation. That giddy radiant stage expert who went to rob and kill. Got turned instead, even Lung Wuchang would be so shocked his eyes would pop out of their sockets. Chapter 187. Return to Wingay City. Chapter 187. Return to Wingay City. Also, Yu Wanshan's group was slowly getting into a mood of celebrating Zhuo Fan's death. Meanwhile, the one-armed 5th elder was shedding tears of vindication. However, this stopped when Lung Wuchang shot them a look. You all need to proceed to Wingay City. The smile froze on the 4, and Yu Wanshan turned his head mechanically with a bright smile to offer the 2. Estate Lord, Sir Lung, haven't we been keeping watch of Wingay City, just so we could get rid of Zhuo Fan? Why do we need to attack that place now that Zhuo Fan is out of the picture? Fool! Huangpu Tianyuan barked, his eyes cold. That's the place that gave birth to Zhuo Fan, and there's a good chance for a 2nd, a 3rd, maybe even a 10th Zhuo Fan to rise. Rather than deal with that mess, we need to level that clan. Furthermore, Huangpu Tianyuan's tone shifted to a darker one. Have I ever gone back on my words? You did exactly that just now. Shivering, Yu Wanshan's group complained in their minds, but they were on their best behavior on the outside. Bowing to Huangpu Tianyuan again, they then left, send them a message. It's time for them to begin. N. Huangpu Tianyuan nodded, pleased. Once the 4 were out of sight of the hall, Yu Wanshan stomped in rage. Who does Regent Estate think they are to use us as messengers? Yeah, the Emperor banned us from Wingay City 2 years ago. Regent Estate wants to test the imperial family's limits and doesn't dare go himself. So he is making us face the danger. What an abominable man! Yen Bagong gnashed his teeth. Lin Rufong furrowed his brow in worry. But we will be offending Regent Estate if we don't go. And if we do, we will incur the imperial family's wrath. What is the better choice? They stared at each other for a long time, but came out empty as they sighed. The imperial family may be a frail tiger now, but that didn't mean one should start groping its tail. If by some chance they touched a sore spot, the weak tiger would snap back at them. The 3 houses would feel the fangs and claws of the imperial family and would have no place to hide in the empire. Go to hell, Regent Estate! Each of them was thinking along the same lines, but none dared to turn Huangpu Tianyuan down. 5th elder continued. Valley Lord, we should choose the lesser of 2 evils. We don't know if the imperial family will act if we move in on Wingay City. But going against Regent Estate will have Huangpu Tianyuan on our backs. And you know his short temper. The 3 house lords shuddered and sighed. In this situation, our only option is to go on a limb. Yu Wanshan spat. That the imperial family is useless and won't act against us. Yu Wanshan picked a green jade slip and made a gesture. The jade slip turned into a light and shot in Wingay City's direction. The other 2 house, Lords followed his gestures. Lung Wuchang was outside the hall, smiling at the three lights tracing the sky above Caged Dragon City. The three realized my plan, but they chose to follow it anyway. Huangpu Tianyuan chuckled as he walked next to Lung Wuchang. Lung Wuchang nodded with a smile of his own. The three are house lords, after all, not mere idiots. How could they not see through a state lord's intentions? But even so, after balancing the gains and losses, they ultimately sided with the state lord. The seven houses seemed to take the imperial family as just an empty shell. Indeed, over the last 1,000 years, the seven houses thrived while the imperial clan declined. It reached a point where the current emperor is the weakest this empire has ever seen. A great opportunity presents itself to us. Huangpu Tianyuan grinned and showed his ambition. If the imperial family remains passive even after the Battle of Wingay City, then I can enact the demon purging decree and purge all outsiders while unifying the seven houses. I will ultimately control the whole land. Ha ha ha! With the seven houses under you, not even the four pillars can stand in your way. I would like to be the first to congratulate the estate lord for taking the throne. Lung Wuchang gave a deep bow. Huangpu Tianyuan laughed, having his ego stroked, then helped Lung Wuchang up. Lung Wuchang, you are the genius of this generation yet. Chose to become my steward, helping regent estates rise to glory. I hereby vow that once I ascend the throne, I will make you the head of the four pillars. I am most grateful for estate lord's kindness. Lung Wuchang bowed again as hope flickered in his gaze. Once elderly kills Zhuofan and brings back the Bodhi root. I will assist estate lord in obtaining the 9 dragons' diamond body. Not even the imperial family's 5 divine dragons will be able to harm you then. You will truly wield ultimate power and rule above everyone. But won't that martial fanatic catch an interest into that worldly treasure? Or would he just throw it away? Ha ha ha, you must be jesting, estate lord. Elderly is only a martial fanatic and not a complete idiot. How could he throw away such a treasure? Of course he'll return it to us. And with Elder Li's ability, Zhuofan will have no opportunity in damaging the treasure at all. Rest assured, estate lord. Lung Wuchang and Huangpu Tianyuan started laughing together, as if the world was their oyster in a different part of the city. Long Yaifi, Xia Xiaofeng, and Chu Bijuan convened in a secluded place. Once they left the hall, Long Yaifi showed Chu Bijuan proper respect. Grandmother, what has gotten into regent estate? Could you please enlighten me? This also concerned Xia Xiaofeng deeply. They knew regent estate was up to something, and it was not good by the looks of it, but he couldn't make heads or tails of it. Grandmother sighed and shook her head. Pavilion Lord Long, Abode Lord Xia, the 3 of us are in an alliance, so I'll be frank. You 2 are at the very top of Huangpu Tianyuan's blacklist. What? Startled, the 2 had guessed as much, but there was another thing to hear it from grandmother. A renowned figure among even the 7 houses, Chu Bijuan, took a deep breath and resumed. I have dealt with the houses for all my life and can attest that I know every house's style like the back of my hand. Let's turn back to when we just entered the hall. You believed, since Lung Wuchang spoke of the lords and subject, that he was looking for you to follow regent estate blindly, right? Isn't that the case? The 2 asked together, shaking her head. Chu Bijuan sighed, her eyes focused. That was a test of obedience. Obedience. Precisely. The so-called lord and subject setup was in fact a way to lord over the masses. To sum it up, to judge obedience. The instant we entered the hall, it was made abundantly clear. Chu Bijuan squinted, her tone cold. Huangpu Tianyuan is too proud, and he only wants those who obey around him. So when you saw the seats he had laid out for you, he expected you to take them without making a peep. Pavilion Lord Long may have been clever, but to him, it was all the same as not obeying him and putting you first on the blacklist. Long Yaifi never would have thought regent estate was so overbearing to impose his will even on the 7 houses. Xia Xiaofeng frowned as he nodded in agreement. I can see now why grandmother has been going along with his intentions. It was all to make Drifting Flowers' edifice among the last to get rid of. That should be the case. Chu Bijuan nodded. Now that he believes the Bodhi root is with Zhuo Fan, and that I obey him throughout this whole farce, in his eyes, Drifting Flowers' edifice should be behind your houses on the blacklist. Brother Xia, we must stay vigilant. Long Yifei laughed. Dryly Xia Xiaofeng nodded what they thought would be a hidden alliance with Drifting Flowers' edifice to make a joint covert attack, now became a full-blown and open assault. Suddenly, becoming the vanguard had placed a heavy weight on their shoulders, as if the vicious eyes of Regent Estate were fixed on them both, but they had to admire the Lady of Steel. Drifting Flowers' edifice had now revived to the one of old along with Lady of Steel's recovery. For her to shift Regent Estate's main priority from them was a difficult feat to pull, putting these two in the first line of fire. Chu Bijuan knew what they were thinking and tapped with her dragon head staff. House Lords, do not think for a second you are shouldering Drifting Flowers' edifice disaster alone. With you in front, Drifting Flowers' edifice is indeed safe for now. But we are all in the same boat. If one house falls, the ruin of the other two will only be a matter of time. The two bowed in profound respect. Grandmother has always had the greater picture in mind. We are ashamed. Now that we are allies in the truest sense of the word, we must devise a plan to stop Regent Estate's campaign. Chu Bijuan spoke in an imposing tone. His plan to use the demon purging decree was not to deal with demon Zhuo Fan, but take advantage of the chaos and swallow the 6 houses. But I knew his keen interest in Bodhi root and mentioned it. Also, he would give up on that notion. It won't last, however. Once he kills Zhuo Fan and obtains the Bodhi root, the demon purging decree will be issued all the same. But wouldn't the death of Zhuo Fan take away the sole reason behind the demon purging decree? Fool! Grandmother tapped with her staff, her tone dropping lower. Demon purging decree never had anything to do with Zhuo Fan from the start. He is an excuse, and this excuse remains valid even if he kills Zhuo Fan while the facts are hidden. I am convinced that Regent Estate had long since sent a team to deal with the kid, and since unwanted contriver Lung Wucheng is also lending a hand, I can only assume the worst. Long Yifei and Xia Xiaofeng nodded. Hearts overwhelmed with shame, this was the Lady of Steel, a woman worthy of her title in times of great peril. She was not a bit inferior to a man. Before the senior, the 2 house lords were naught but mere children that listened to her orders. All that Regent Estate is missing is to determine the limit of the imperial family. Only then will they unleash the demon purging decree without scruples. And this limit is none other than Wingay City. Chu Bijuan's eyes focused and shouted, "We do not know the imperial family's stance on Wingay City, so we have to help them. We cannot let Luo clan fall. Qinger Peony, go and inform Huangpu Tianyuan that I, Pavilion Lord Long, and Abode Lord Xia have urgent matters to attend in our houses and have to leave at once." The 2 overseers bowed. Chu Bijuan turned to the house lords. "We must make haste and aid Wingay City. The enemy must have forces in place already. I can only hope we make it in time. Ah, grandmother, won't the 3 houses be moving together? We can't afford any delays." Chu Bijuan cut through their hesitation on the spot. "Lung Wucheng is a shrewd man, and we won't be able to hide our cooperation from him for long. It's best we make it public and face them head on. This will also work to show that we are one and not to be pushed around." Saying her piece, Chu Bijuan flew away. Long Yifei and Xia Xiaofeng looked at each other and laughed dryly. Lady of Steel is fierce indeed. The 2 house lords couldn't gain any word in at all. All they could do was follow her lead. She's a bit too fierce. And at this moment, 3 figures landed on a mountain outside Wingay City. Guess who's back? Chapter 188, Fink. Chapter 188, Fink. With a deep breath, Zhuo Fan overlooked Wingay City especially Blackwind Mountain. With a sigh for Luo clan's safety, its steward left on a 2-year journey. I wonder how they are doing? Old Pang's wraith art was a success or death. Zhuo Fan's mind was filled with thoughts the nearer he got. He didn't realize when the Luo clan got to be so important to him. Elderly, you're not pulling my leg, are you? Regent Estate truly cancelled the demon purging decree? Vicious Pill King was on pins and needles all the way to Wingay City. Li Jingtian forced a smile. This guy had asked him 100 times already, but no matter how he explained it, he'd come back to ask again and again. Getting on his nerves, his eyes snapped on Vicious Pill King and roared, "Kid, you're so old yet nagging me like a midwife. This will be the last time I'll tell you. I came voluntarily after you, not because Regent Estate issued the demon purging decree. At least, not before I left. If you ask me one more time, geezer, I'll tear your mouth off." Vicious Pill King jerked from fear. He remained quiet, but worry still plagued him. Zhuo Fan had also got to know what the demon purging decree entailed this past 2 weeks, and could feel Vicious Pill King's distress. Radiant stage experts were the ultimate power of any house, and the only way to use them was through a demon purging decree. Zhuo Fan was certain Li Jingtian didn't come because of it, and lying to him was impossible. This martial fanatic really came just to steal cultivation methods, or the moment the old man saw them. Zhuo Fan fight, instead of letting himself be captured. Elder Yan, relax. Even if the demon purging decree is released, it won't be any time soon. We will still have time to prepare. Zhuo Fan smiled hum. A sudden ripple spread from Wingay City. Vicious Pill King was still out of it, but the other two felt it. Radiant stage. Their faces took a darker tone, especially Zhuo Fan. Is demon purging decree really in effect? It was all too sudden. He and the elders had ways to safeguard themselves, but the Luo clan was powerless. Zhuo Fan nodded at Li Jingtian, who searched with his soul. Under the cover of Li Jingtian's soul sense, Zhuo Fan released his own. This would make the other side only notice Long's discerning field, while Zhuo Fan's was still hidden. This would give him a good opportunity to lay some traps if the other was an enemy. At any given time and place, Zhuo Fan hid his cards to make a deadly strike on any who came after him. Li Jingtian had to admire Zhuo Fan for his behavior. It was the first time he saw the kid this vigilant. While Li Jingtian was a martial fanatic, Zhuo Fan would be a high-functioning sociopath, with killing always on his mind, but that stemmed from Zhuo Fan always meeting difficult opponents. At the end of it all, Zhuo Fan was still standing while all the others around him lay dead, and since the first thing that came to Zhuo Fan's mind was killing, those people had to exhibit just a brief lack in judgment, and their lives were forfeited. Li Jingtian secretly signed, holding Zhuo Fan in even higher regard, 3 radiant stage experts. Li Jingtian frowned. Zhuo Fan nodded. 2 in the 3rd layer and 1 in the 4th. Not to mention, there are many profound heaven experts around as well. Wait, there's also those 2-inch. Zhuo Fan snickered all of a sudden. I knew they were garbage, but had no good excuse so far. But this time, humph. Zhuo Fan observed Blackwind Mountain in the distance. A glance was enough to reveal that the arrays he set up were activated. Easing his worries, Blackwind Mountain still holds. Well, I'll be Luo clan is no pushover. Just from not being able to see through the arrays, I can tell it's no less than at a Regent Estate's level. Even a Radiant stage will have his work cut out for him. Li Jingtian scanned the Blackwind Mountain as well. The minute Vicious Pill King heard something about Radiant stage experts being involved, he jumped the gun. 3 Radiant stage experts in one go. This must be the demon purging decree. Elder Yen, stop whining. Demon purging decree has nothing to do with this. Zhuo Fan saw Vicious Pill King hysterical and shook his head. They would have attacked before the arrays were activated if the demon purging decree was declared. But look at them, they're still waiting for orders. But why else are Radiant stage experts included if not because of demon purging decree? Because of me. Zhuo Fan shot him a look. To make sure I stay dead, they laid a trap. Everything is taken into account. including the intervention of Veiled Dragon Pavilion. I can say for sure that once I set foot in Wingay City, those 3 Radiant Stage experts will take my life. However, a creepy grin found itself on his lips as Zhuo Fan turned to Li Jingtian. They'll never guess I still have a Radiant Stage expert on my side, and a 6th-layer body, cultivator to boot. Ha ha ha, with me here, these pups won't take 1 hair from you. Li Jingtian laughed and jutted his chin with a raised eyebrow. Zhuo Fan said evilly, "Why stop there? Elderly, that would be a walk in the park for you." Ah. Li Jingtian pondered carefully, and his eyes took a savage tone. "Then I'll just kill my way in and put them in their place." "No." Zhuo Fan smiled. Li Jingtian was confused. "Steward Zhuo doesn't trust my strength? Humph! Forget about these weak bastards, when not even a Radiant Stage expert at my lair can take 3 hits from me." Li Jingtian's tone was mighty enough, but unclear if from confidence or overconfidence. Zhuo Fan, however, still had the same smile. "And what if I want Elderly to kill them as well?" That Li Jingtian frowned as he smoothed his beard in predicament. Killing those weaker than him was easy, but doing the same for those in the same stage was a whole nother matter. Taking Wingay City's battle as an example, Veiled Dragon Pavilion's 3rd and 5th elders were far stronger than Hell Valley's elders, but unable to kill him no matter how they tried. It was all thanks to Zhuo Fan's schemes, taking advantage of the enemy's carelessness, that he killed 2 elders. This was also why Veiled Dragon Pavilion was in so much uproar then when someone stronger couldn't kill them. Zhuo Fan up and pulled off such an impossible feat while 2 stages below. Not once, but twice, and now Li Jingtian was finding it hard to answer Zhuo Fan's request, grinning diabolically. Zhuo Fan's eyes were on him. "Elderly, I seem to recall you are still Regent Estates, Guest Venerable." "Ah, Steward Zhuo, my intentions are real." Li Jingtian was just about to explain his loyalty when he caught onto Zhuo Fan's sneaky meaning. "Precisely. No one yet knows of you standing with the Luo clan." So, Zhuo Fan got closer to Li Jingtian's ear, who nodded now, and then once done explaining, Zhuo Fan stressed, "Remember, don't go rambling about once inside. Slap them a couple of times and tell them to lay siege on the mountain." "Got it. It's been so long since I played this role." "Ha!" Li Jingtian flew straight for Wingay City. Zhuo Fan grinned, disregarding Vicious Pill King's facial expression. When one looks for a fink, quality is always preferred. And the ones you have found are some I can't wait to get rid of. Vicious Pill King had no clue what he was raving about as Zhuo Fan pulled him towards Blackwind Mountain. "Elder Yen, I'll take you to see the clan." Vicious Pill King's eyes sparkled and nodded. It is finally time to see the legendary clan. Meanwhile, in Wingay City Sun Clan's manor, those poor quality finks Zhuo Fan mentioned, Kai Rong and Kai Shouting, were sitting in a small room with evil looks. Humph! To hell with the Sun Clan, and to hell with Hell Valley! We've been running around Blackwind Mountain for so long, and even drew them a map. It's not our fault they couldn't see the guarding arrays. Yet now, they give us the silent treatment. Kai Shouting nagged Kai Rong's side. Zhuo Fan is incredible to set guarding arrays before leaving. But that damn Luo Yunchang is too paranoid, not having extended contact with outsiders. We had to turn traitors if we wanted to attack it. Haha, our map is useless now that the guarding arrays are up. No wonder everyone gives us the cold shoulder. Humph! Zhuo Fan must have taught her before leaving. That bitch gobbles up everything Zhuo Fan says. She is so loyal that she almost pushed the Luo clan head position on him. Kai Shouting raged, his eyes clouded in jealousy. "Tell me, father, am I not? Kai Shouting, the grand young master of Kai Manor. Better than that nobody? Why is it that Luo Yunchang never looked at me ever since Zhuo Fan showed up? He's been gone for 2 years now. Yet she pins for him every day by looking in the direction he left. There was not even a word of mention to me regarding the guarding arrays." Kai Rong regretted the more he saw his son, complaining Zhuo Fan was a true genius, admired even by the 7 houses. He would have long given his daughter to Fan if he had one instead. My son is in the 9th layer of qi condensation, yet has not a bit of wisdom on him. Kai Rong shook his head when Sun Yufei burst in. The elders want to see you. Come with me. Startled, the Kai father and son turned happy, thinking they would meet Hell Valley's higher-ups. Their rise was just around the corner. Chapter 189. One stronger than the last. Chapter 189. One stronger than the last. Kai clan's father and son followed Sun Yufei into the Sun Manor's parlor. Sun Yufei motioned for them to stop as she made a respectful bow. Elder, the Kai clan father and son are here. Let them in. The cold voice sent shivers down the father and son's spines. Shuffling behind Sun Yufei with the courage of a mouse, they were about to meet a man of great power in the 7 houses, a grand, profound heaven expert. One word from him would send their heads tumbling. They only just stepped through the door and their knees hit the floor, soon followed by their heads. Salutations, elder. I am Kai Rong, head of the Kai clan, and he is my son. Sun Yufei couldn't help but frown. She used to think Kai shouting was a distinguished man of valor and pride, only to find he had not one single bone in his back. She was the one leading them. Yet, instead of letting her make her own gesture of respect first, they cut in front of her. Then again, hardly anyone in Tianyu didn't go on his knees when meeting an elder from the 7 houses, but this cowardice brought them to a whole new level of shameless she never saw before, earning her contempt. I must have been blind to have fancied you. The feelings were mutual for the middle-aged men sitting in the chairs across, holding them in even worse regard. Ha ha ha! This pair knows how to choose sides. The voice on their left made the Kai clan father and son look. It isn't just one Hell Valley elder that came this time. What they saw was an old man with blue hair nodding at them. He was mocking, being satisfied, and flashing in his eyes gave the father-son duo a weird feeling. Yen Zhenlan, if you find them so capable, why not take them under Pill King Hall's wing? The man in the center teased Yen Zhenlan, shook his hand, and laughed. You Laolu, isn't it a bit rude to push these men who came to Hell Valley? Even to an inferior clan such as theirs, credit must be given where it's due, and take them in your care. When a dog wags its tail, a master ought to throw it a pound of flesh, no? What are you guys doing wasting time on these fools? Ask what we came here for, and let's get on with it. House Lord's messages could arrive any day now. The rude voice came from the twos, right this time. They turned cautiously and saw a stout man with a beard and a blue robe and of imposing presence, another profound heaven expert. Ha ha ha! What crawled up your ass and died? Yu Laolu dismissed him with a smile. Lin Yuelun, among us 3 houses, Marywood's grudge with Zhuofan is the smallest. So just sit tight. Maybe Zhuofan has already been dealt with, and we won't be doing any attacking. We're not allowed to be here anyway. The other 2 caught his meaning and shivered and gnawed. The 2 from the Kai clan had long been sweating buckets. What the hell is wrong with this world? Why are 3 of the 7 noble houses here? I only recall swearing fealty to Hell Valley, not to 3 of them. Are we such a hot commodity that they're fighting over us? Ha, as if. Zhuofan, they must have come here for revenge. Kai Rong gnashed his teeth, the hatred for Zhuofan burning even hotter. In this backwater place, Lei Yuding handled the intelligence of the Luo clan, while the father and son remained in the dark regarding Zhuofan's exploits in the outside world. He was smart enough to guess Zhuofan poked his nose where he shouldn't end up with 2 more houses on his tail. Wasn't that clear enough? He wanted to make it hard for these 2. Couldn't you have offended anyone else instead of the 7 houses? The original plan was to work from the darkness with the Sun clan for the Hell Valley and wipe out the Luo clan, presenting Wingay City as a welcome gift. But the plan went up in smoke as Hell Valley suffered a crushing defeat instead. The imperial family's secret pearl order can go to hell for all I care. The 8th house is going to be the Luo clan, not my Kai clan. Why the hell should I give my life for them? But the arrival of Pelking Hall and Merrywoods told him their hatred for the Luo clan was no less than Hell Valley's. Why else would two great houses travel thousands of miles to Wingay City, even when the imperial family had put a ban on this area? In short, one house's ire became three houses' wrath. Selling the Luo clan out might have been able to appease one house's anger. But when there were three, even if the Luo clan was burned to the ground, the remaining rage of the other two houses would be shifted onto the father and son. After all, they were once part of the Luo clan, no. Kai Rong was on the verge of crying. Zhuo Fan is a genius to stir three hornet nests. What the hell did you do to offend three houses in just 2 years? The three elders didn't know the anguish and sorrow plaguing the poor father and son. Not that they cared. Yan Laolu sipped his tea and shouted, "Kai Rong, begin by telling me of the experts hiding in the Luo clan." Kai Rong was out of it for a second, then bobbed his head, on the verge of hugging their legs and begging for mercy. As for getting rewarded for his merit, that was long forgotten, elders. The Luo clan is a second-rate clan at best. Only Grand Elder Lei Yuntian is a profound heaven expert, one that advanced 2 years ago. As for his goddaughter, Lei Yuding and Captain Pang, they are all in the bone-tempering stage, while the Luo clan orphans, Luo Yinhai and Luo Yinchang, are even weaker. The rest are inconsequential, beneath elders' attention. Kai Rong blurted out as fast as he could, sometimes pausing, letting Kai shouting join the explanation. They spilled the beans on anything and everything that happened in the Luo clan over the past 2 years. The three elders looked at the two somewhat awkwardly. They all have seen their fair share of snitches, but never ever someone as useless as these two. How did they even keep their vassal clan status? That's all. We have no need to know what flowers you planted on the mountain. Scratching his nose, Yu Laolu said, "What of the 4 arrays? Do you know how to shut them down, or how to avoid them?" Zhuo Fan has set them up before his departure. We know nothing about them. Only after betraying the Luo clan did we find out of the array's existence. You have to believe me, elders. Fine, we believe you. To Kai Rong's panic, Yu Laolu gestured for him to stop. How could the three elders not believe such dedicated traitors? The elders nodded. They had a rudimentary knowledge of the Luo clan, so there was no point in asking further. Knowing how the two planted flowers behind the mountain or staking out the latrines for days on end would probably, most definitely, not reveal some groundbreaking secret. They thought just as they were about to ask the two to leave. 3 men suddenly broke in, and the elders got shocked and rushed to bow. "Greetings to the 3 venerables." What? Venerables? Isn't that a radiant stage expert? Gasping, Kai Rong brought his head even lower. He was so shocked he almost had a heart attack. Never had he entertained the notion there would be one here, much less see one in person. The only one they ever saw was the jade, flute divine sword, Fang Qiubai. That man was following the 3rd prince, and it was clear that he had no ill intentions towards them, while these 3 venerables wouldn't be as tolerant, killing them at a whim if they wanted to. The 2 didn't shiver in fear before the elders, but were now rooted on the spot. The venerables couldn't care less about ants. Fixing their eyes on the elders, we detected 3 men outside Wingay City. A bone-tempering stage, a profound heaven stage, and a 6th layer of radiant stage experts. One venerable spoke. The elders were shocked. Why would such an expert come here for? Was he a friend or foe? Damn, the radiant stage expert is heading for us. A venerable shouted. Everyone was on edge right now, as even the elders broke out in sweat. A profound heaven expert was no different than an ant before a 6th layer radiant stage. The 3 venerables fixed their gazes outside this courtyard. The atmosphere was so heavy, no breath was heard, and the air grew thick. Kai Rong and his son were crawling on the ground, shaking like a leaf. If all the experts here fought with the newcomer, they would have no chance of survival. Boom! Shockingly, Mad Dipper, Li Jingtian slammed into the Sun Clan's yard, kicking up dust. Once it settled, his raging face was terrifying, aren't you? A venerable recognized him and pointed a trembling finger. He didn't get the chance to continue as Li Jingtian slapped him silly. The venerable was bent over as Li Jingtian shouted, "Fools! Why haven't you attacked yet?" The others were dumbstruck, not caused by Li Jingtian's booming voice, but the suddenness of his slap. Who is this man to slap a high and mighty, radiant stage expert, a venerable? Kai Rong and his son were paralyzed. Today had been an eventful day for them, to say the least in the span of only 15 minutes. One stronger than the next kept popping up. It all culminated with the arrival of a radiant stage expert, slapping a Seven Houses venerable silly. Chapter 190. I told you to attack that mountain. Chapter 190. I told you to attack that mountain. All stood still as statues, not breathing, and mouth agape the slapped venerable wobbled, then held his swelling face. Despite the rage coursing in his veins, he chose only to give a hateful stare. Why, you're the guest venerable from Regent Estate. Mad Dipper Li Jingtian, why are you here? Didn't Regent Estate choose to stay out of this? More importantly, what's the meaning of this? The others gasped, with Kai Rong and his son appalled. No wonder he dared throw his weight around. He's from Regent Estate, the head of the Seven Houses. But why would the Regent Estate take an interest in this backwater city? Don't tell me that blasted Zhuo Fan went and stepped on Regent Estate's toes? Kai Rong felt woozy. That filthy mongrel is nothing but trouble. This goes beyond only me dying. My entire clan will be uprooted. It suddenly hit him that even if he hadn't sold out the Luo clan, Zhuo Fan would sooner or later have them disposed of. 2 years of hard work and schemes had just gone down the drain, of course. Li Jingtian snapped back in a higher tone. You have the gall to question me? If you weren't standing around with your hands down your pants, Zhuo Fan wouldn't have sneaked through that array that even my soul sense can't penetrate. What? Zhuo Fan escaped from 6 profound heaven experts, and yourself. You're saying he's back? Why haven't we noticed then? Another venerable cried out. Li Jingtian stared him down, before giving him a resounding slap as well. Be quiet, or people might think you're an idiot. They were all too shocked to even speak. Elderly was just as the rumor painted him to be, a mad dipper, and had an even worse temper, especially now that a bone-tempering cultivator like Zhuo Fan actually slipped through his fingers. Opening one's mouth now would only make one a target, and you went ahead and pointed out his failure. No wonder you got slapped. What they didn't stop to think about, however, was that all of this was part of Zhuo Fan's cunning plan. Looking at it from a different angle, Li Jingtian's sudden arrival in Wingay City was full of warning signs. Putting aside the fact that Zhuo Fan slipped past a 6th-layer radiant stage expert like Li Jingtian and returned to Blackwind Mountain, and not even the 3 radiant stage experts felt him. There was clearly something off about this in spite of all the glaring faults. Li Jingtian's venting scared all these suspicions away from their minds. It devolved into taking Li Jingtian's words as solid gold this way. Zhuo Fan had them all follow Li Jingtian into his trap. Every able body is to follow my lead and attack that mountain. Li Jingtian barked as his cold eyes swept them. The 3 venerables hesitated with a frown. Elderly, we have yet to get word from the House Lords. We can't. Cut the crap. Why have the 3 of them sent you here, if not to get that damn Luo clan? And Li Jingtian emphasized with another resounding slap. I am here. So why are you still frickin' hesitating? I told you to attack that mountain. Do it, and you'll gain merit for it. Don't. Li Jingtian snorted twice for good measure and flew at Blackwind Mountain. The 3 slapped venerables looked at each other in consternation. They finally gnashed their teeth and followed. Their reticence was about Regent Estate using the 3 houses to test the imperial family's limit. So the Regent Estate had sent 2 of their elders to kill Zhuo Fan and not a single one of their men to Wingay City. It was the same as saying they had no hand in this if it went belly up, so The three venerables were awaiting their house lord's orders, but now Li Jingtian came, who represented Regent Estate. Since he dared to attack, they had to follow. At worst, the Regent Estate would be leading the charge. This sounded like a solid plan to the three. As they only had their house's benefits in mind, they chose to put all the discrepancies aside. For example, they clearly sensed two more people with Li Jingtian before. They had questions like, who are they? And if he chased Zhuo Fan all the way here, why was one of them in the bone-tempering stage? However, they chose to ignore all these important and obvious issues. Or more aptly put, they'd never speak up even if they did come to mind. After all, were Li Jingtian's slaps so refreshing that they wanted more? This way, the three cowardly venerable came aboard Li Jingtian's rocky ship on the three elders' side. They could only laugh bitterly and follow as well. Now that their venerables joined the front, they had no excuse not to. The only ones left were three people, Kai Clan's father and son, as well as Sun Yufei Kai Rong's side as he followed the experts fly away. Today opened my eyes. I've never seen so many Radiant Stage experts in one place before, and even a venerable from the great Regent Estate is here. One stronger than the last. Even those three profound heaven elders were not but ants before the four experts. Humph, look who's talking. Who was it that was shaking in fear earlier? Sun Yufei made her contempt known. Kai shouting was annoyed. Sister Yufei, Kai Clan has always been on friendly terms with the Sun Clan. Why are you suddenly so antagonistic towards my father? Humph, you're no different either. A deadbeat. You, Kai Shouting's face was aflame from rage, his knuckles white. It was obvious he couldn't put a lid on his anger and wanted to take this former goddess of his down a peg, but a sudden sound made Sun Clan head's arrival known. He turned his attention from the big hole made from Li Jingtian's landing to the empty yard. What happened? Where are the elders? Sun Yufei chose to ignore Kai Shouting and explained to Sun Clan head what happened. Sun Clan head grabbed Sun Yufei and livened his step. Yufei, we're going to Blackwind Mountain. Whatever for? Sun Yufei was stunned. Foolish girl. It's to cheer on the elders and venerables, of course. Sun Clan had laughed. Remember, if you want any of them to notice you, you have to put on a decent show. Kai Rong raised an eyebrow and dragged his son along as well. Dad, are we? As if. The Sun Clan lorded over us all because they had a relative in Hell Valley. With 3 elders and 4 houses venerables here fighting, it is our best chance at making ties with one of them. The Sun Clan had Hell Valley's backing, and who knows, we might get Regent Estate as a sponsor. We'll see then how tough they'll act around us. Kai Shouting nodded fiercely. Dad, you're right. Will that son bitch dare look down on me then? Kai Shouting felt himself filled with the desire to fight, putting more power in his legs and going faster than even his dad. Kai Rong relaxed seeing him. My child is all grown up. This way, the 2 clans outdid themselves in kissing the asses of the 4 houses. They were afraid these backers of theirs might get snatched by someone else. Inside Blackwind Mountain's hall, a pale Luo Yunchang sat cross-legged. She had worked hard in her cultivation these last 2 years, but she was still only a peak qi condensation cultivator for one person. To sustain 4 large arrays day in day out was a heavy burden. Next to her was Lei Yuntian, as well as Captain Pang and some others. Seeing their usually healthy and energetic young miss now looking haggard, pain laced their hearts. Young miss, please take a rest. They arrived in Wingay City for a month now and still have not attacked. There shouldn't be a problem if you take a breather. Captain Pang's face was filled with black energy as his aura leaked without realizing it. Yet, even so, tears welled in his fierce eyes. Smiling slightly, Luo Yunchang's lips seemed pale, yet her smile ever bright. Sister Lei is still hard at work with scouting, right? The enemy has at least 3 profound heaven experts, along with even stronger people among them. All our attempts to find out more about their side have proved fruitless. I'm afraid if they chose to attack, we might not even have the time to activate the array. Girl, You can't keep this up for much longer. Lei Yuntian sighed. It's all my fault for being powerless and letting you suffer like this. For a girl to shoulder the defense of a clan when disaster strikes makes me realize how useless this grand elder is. Uncle Lei, don't beat yourself up. You and Captain Pang, along with Sister Lei, have worked tirelessly for the Luo clan to thrive. I couldn't do anything to help you up till now, so allow me to at least do this for our clan. Luo clan is my home, and you are part of it. I saw it laid to ruin once, and I'm not going to stand by and see it happen again. Luo Yunchang's sad tone had them all sighing. Luo Yunhai looked at his sister. If only Broja was here, it would have all been fine. He always had a way out of any crisis. The eyes of the others trembled and softened. Lei Yuding bit her lip in. This damn brat kicked up a storm for us and still hasn't come back. He must be living it up out there. Sister Lei, don't say that. Zhuo Fan must be rushing over as we speak. Luo Yunchang frowned slightly. We must defend our clan and await his return. Yunchang he is, actually. Captain Pang's scowl and the shaking of the head had Lei Yuding swallow her words. She had been in charge of intelligence for the Luo clan and knew fully well of Zhuo Fan's love life, but refrained from sharing it with Luo Yunchang. Luo Yunchang looked puzzled. Ah! She cried out, what's wrong? The others were frantic. Luo Yunchang's brows quivered as her eyes revealed shock. I lost control over the poison dragon array in the east. What? Everyone's hearts were in their throats.